I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capping space. I won't stop till I hear him say,
Hey, welcome in, guys. How's everybody?
All good, thank you.
Doing great.
Great. Right, where is Waldo now? I'm not gonna say you somewhere, but anyway, okay.
I'm out the country.
Yeah,
Columbia.
Ron is out there running. Oh boy. What did you guys think? Real quick, just a quick little summary or some thoughts. What did you guys think about Meet the X?
Well, I thought the episode was quite interesting. It really shed some light on some of these connections that we may have thought were happening behind the scenes, and the exes kind of surprised me as well. Some of the ladies that were previously dated, Phil's ex, for example, that kind of surprised me. But we'll go into that later. And I think some of the way that Maurier's connections all disappeared in that one date.
Oh man, was that something?
Yeah. Yeah. So quite an interesting episode. Not necessarily for the positive outlook that I had in mind, but we'll discuss.
Yeah, we will discuss. What about you, Ryan? You've been there before where I don't know, your season, did the ladies have to meet your ex or your family? What happened your season?
Your best friends. Your best friends.
Best friends? Okay. And were you nervous on that date? Tell us how that feels on your side of the TV screen.
You're not really nervous. You really kind of want somebody's opinion at that point because you're kind of confused yourself. Like, what's going on? You don't know who to choose. You got ultimate, different connections, and you really, really need them to do their job and get some information from the people that you can't necessarily, that they don't feel comfortable sharing with you over the phone or on a date right away. So.
Okay.
And I think their exes did a good job of asking the questions. Maybe that's why we got some new information. Maybe that the castmates weren't willing to talk freely about to the other, to their connections, because you don't want to turn your connection off by bringing up something about sex or this and that. So it's just easier to have the other person, your ex say it.
I don't know. I think we gonna get to that, because that question right there, I'm like, I don't know if men really understand women at all. If you've got to have another woman ask me how my libido is, and you and I are having conversations one-on-one every night, there's a problem, dude. There's a problem.
You don't want to turn them. I mean, you're trying to get information while you're on the phone with the girl, but you're still trying to not say the wrong thing, because the relationship is so fragile, because it's not that much time there. You know what I mean? So you don't want to, some stuff you don't want to bring up because you're afraid it might turn her off. And if you turn her off and you only got two connections, now you only got one. You don't want to.
Well, that's Marie right there, because we're going to talk about it, but I have to say this right up front. I feel like he's beginning to seem and look more and more like a politician every episode, and that is unattractive to me as a woman. That is unattractive.
What do you mean by politician, though?
Politicians are always trying to get everybody to vote for them, right? Whether they have your best interest at heart or not, they're trying to get the masses to vote for them, and that's what Marie is coming across as a guy that just wants to stay in the game, but he really doesn't have a connection, a real connection.
He doesn't, but I think it's not lack of him. I think he wants one. Even the fact that he was willing to, it was kind of telling on me. He was the only guy that I feel that was willing to date a woman who was upper in age and make it work. You know what I mean? I think he wants one, but
Wait a minute. How old is Marie? Because when his ex said that she was, it was an
41.
age. Yeah, okay. She's the date was the ex is 41. Janelle is 41. Marie is how old?
He's young. He's probably younger because a lot of the guys are younger. So
He's a couple of years. I think they said on the screen it says like 38, 37, 38, 39.
maybe 37, 30.
Let me tell you something, okay? I got 2 eyes, 4 eyes. I wear glasses, but I gotta tell you, like Marie, looking at him throughout the season, he looks every bit of 45. So look, son, if you're gonna look 45, then don't be surprised when the 45-year-old ladies are who's talking to you and checking for you. Because
And he wasn't. He said he stepped up and did his thing.
if I'm 35, I'm not looking at Marie at all. No.
She felt uncomfortable with the age difference. He didn't. No, he stepped up and said, I'll go older. I know I'm you know what I mean? I'm a little shorter, a little chubbier. You know what I mean? I'll go up with age and stuff to get what I want. He did the right thing. She said she felt uncomfortable at first, but she said yeah.
Well, I'm glad he's being realistic about his options. I'm glad.
I think he's being very realistic about his options.
Tell you that you're not my type and you not filling my space. No, don't let me have to tell you. Denise says he's 36-ish, but he looking all of 46-ish. I'm sorry. Okay, this is the way. Me as a viewer, I'm looking at it, and it's not. You gotta be realistic when you look in that mirror. Even if your body and your birth certificate says you're 37, if your face and your body is given 47 because you're not working out, you're not taking care of yourself, or whatever that thing is, or maybe it's genetics. I don't know. And I'm not trying to talk about the brother. He's not an unattractive male, but he just looks remarkably older than his actual age that they're telling us is his age. So I don't know what to believe.
Yeah, I think he understands that. That's why he wanted to get that sexual question off the books.
Right. We're gonna call it for now, just because YouTube. Okay, around. Let's call it the libido question. JR, you want to weigh in?
I got it.
You want to weigh in? You want to weigh in on this, JR? Just real quick. What are your thoughts about? Am I wrong as a woman? Am I
wrong? No. I mean, the visual aspect comes into every every sense of attraction, right? Like if you meet someone or you're interested in dating them, then attraction is a big part of it. A lot of people say that for men it's higher up on the list of priorities, but no, clearly in some cases it's high up on the list of priorities for some women as well. So I think it's natural. You want to be visually attracted to the person, but I don't think you.
Wait a minute, hold on 1 second. Guys out there in chat, can you guys hear us? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear us, okay? Because we got one person in the chat that says they can't hear anything. On my end, everything is good, but put a 1 in the chat, please. And if my moderators are in the chat, please let me know what's going on here, okay? Okay, people are saying they can hear us, LaDon. Go ahead, JR, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I think you can't really judge someone by their physical appearance, because sometimes there's more to them than just their physical. But Morier isn't the same level of eye candy as maybe some of the other guys. So, and with his Pan-Africanism, Dr. Umar stuff he's got going on. That may be what he's using to.
He got going on. He got a lot going on. He's trying to be everybody. Like I said, he's a politician. He's a whole politician in my eyes.
That's why they sent Christopher home. They said Christopher was trying to sell himself to everybody, right? But I don't think Morier necessarily suffers from that, in my opinion. I think he's revealed a lot about himself in terms of his belief system, and that's obviously turned some of the ladies off this time. And I think he's definitely a guy who really relies on having more conversation and chemistry than being physically attractive to most of the ladies he dates. But if he chose to date someone who's older than him, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what he wanted at the time, and that's what she was feeling. So,
what is wrong with a guy politicking for himself and and standing he the man
You know
though?
what, Ron? Here's the thing. It's nothing at all wrong with it. But if I feel you're doing it, then that's the problem. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing wrong with me leading you to where I want you to be. But if you can see the mechanics of it, you're not doing it properly. Does that make sense?
I guess you wanted to be more natural, confidence wise and stuff like that. But I mean, I like the old school confident guy who would just say, "Hey, I am him." He changed his name on the screen. I am Himothy. Call me Himothy. I am that guy. I am that guy. You know what I mean? And stand by it and is going to politic for himself and be his own cheerleader. Because if he ain't going to do that, who else is doing it for him?
Like I said, I agree.
But
It's a matter of you
the
coming
street
across-
don't like that, I guess. But why can't a man just say, "Hey, I am him. I get up, I work hard every day. I am that guy," and that it is what it is.
My Ro says she's zipping her lips about Marie's age. Yeah, because I'm not buying 36, 30. I'm not buying nothing in the 30s. 30s and came and gone for Marie, okay? I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. Not buying it. There's certain tales that we all have as people, and very few people. Now, there are some ageless people that, honest to goodness, like, okay, and we know there's filters, but in real life and on the camera, it's very difficult nowadays with high definition cameras to hide your true age. I worked in the industry and I know tales and I know what to look for. So I'm looking at Marie, and again, I think it's because, to be honest, and I'm not body shaming anybody, but when you're heavier than you're supposed to be, you're overweight, that right there gives you the automatic appearance of being older. That's one thing.
right. But yeah, that's true. Like that, the work you put into your health and fitness, or your mobility when you're younger, definitely pays off when you get older.
Yes,
but
that's another thing.
It isn't like Morier is gonna get Botox or a tummy tuck or anything like that.
Go to the gym. Just eat better. Stay away from the fried foods, Marie.
That camera does give you 15 though. It gives you It gives you 15. That's a real thing.
You know what? Wait a minute. His overalls, okay, Ron, let's be realistic. The other day when he wore those tight little itty bitty, tiny whiny overalls, you wearing 2 or 3 sizes smaller than what you need to have on. That's also hurting you, okay? Because it's like,
I get it. I can say it. Every castmate that I've met, every single one, I've seen the 15-pound difference from the camera to meeting them in person. And they even said it about me. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he might have a little less cushion. You know what I mean? He's still a big boy. But he might have a little less cushion than what you're seeing.
That I don't like, because I've liked some big guys. I've liked some heavier guys. But then, it's also probably some men will say about a heavier woman. It's all about proportion, though, too. Any guy that looks like he's 6 or more months pregnant, that's a turnoff for me. I'm sorry. That's a turnoff. And that would be Marie. Marie looks like he's pregnant.
You basically saying his height doesn't blend it out, is what you're saying.
It's not working with the proportion. The proportion is not proportionate. I'm sorry. It's not proportionate. And I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to say this right here and now, if I haven't said it before. I believe it's a lie when we as society say that men are visual creatures. I think what society says, a lot of things are conditioning, and I'm very aware. I'm uber aware of conditioning in our society. So people saying that men are visual creatures or men are visual, I'm not saying that's not true. What I'm saying is we as a society are paternalistic and we focus on men. So here's what I'm saying as a woman. Women have eyes too. And we do observe, and we do want our men to be attractive and to take care of himself.
Oh, big time! I'm very aware of pretty male privilege. that I've seen with some of my friends and stuff like that, who have to do 3 times less work than I have to do when it comes to some of these women.
Like that Chris fella, like Chris, like okay, Chris
Yeah,
working.
Chris, cool, but I'm talking about it's levels to that stuff, and I've seen guys that literally they have to do nothing.
Your boy Blake. I mean, my ex.
No, Blake. Yeah, Blake got pretty privileged. Yep.
My ex.
Blake got AJ at 6'7", 6'6". Yeah, don't have to do much.
Ron, I met my ex in college, and I'm telling you something. There wasn't a place we couldn't go where the necks weren't snapping, men and women. He was just that fine. Like I always talk about it. I always say this. He had movie star good looks. This man was 6'4", former Marine, built for whatever. He was built for it. Okay, he had that body, those shoulders, those arms. Worked out, had the abs, everything, face, hair, everything was, hey, he was that fine. So like, and my thing was like, I never really wanted a man to be uber fine, but he picked me, so hey.
Yeah, you gotta know what you're signing up for as a woman. Your man look better than you. You might have a problem. You might not, but it's just one of those things. But certainly you're not gonna be able to expect everything from him that you might be able to expect from an average looking guy. It's gonna be different. So
and I found that out down the road too.
And
I
hey,
found that out.
listen,
Right.
but body positivity is a thing these days. So
Yes.
the heaviest set people are definitely out there in abundance, and Morier may be the heaviest looking on the cast or more out of shape, but again, he has to compensate for that with elements of his personality. The problem is that seems to have turned people off, like the personality part. So if he doesn't have the pretty privilege, let's say Marvin, who got away with stuff, the set, the questions he was talking about with libido and all those other things, he stayed on because he was eye candy. If it was Morier saying the same things that Marvin was saying, he would have been gone a long time ago.
Oh, he would have been gone the first episode. We'd be like, bye, you gotta go, boy. You gotta go.
Exactly.
But instead,
so
he's overcompensating. Here's a good point what you're bringing up, JR. But I feel like he's overcompensating with the politicking rather than being charming and charismatic. He's politicking, and for me, that just is like it's a little bit too heavy-handed.
Yeah, but he may not have that in his arsenal. That may not be who he is. We don't know.
What do you mean?
Like, so we don't know if he's a charming guy in that sense where he's gonna romance you and all those other things. He hasn't done that on the show. So, like I said, for me, he has kind of put himself in a position where he has to lead with his personality because he doesn't have maybe the physical attributes of some of the other guys, but that's obviously what's turned the ladies off as well. I mean, it's one thing to be it's one thing to be Pan-African and pro-black and all the rest of it, but then he goes into the crystals and the spirituality and all these other things, so he's losing his targets, very quickly too. So it's not working.
It's a lot.
Sometimes you could play into the audience and not playing it to your date. So you might, Pam African sound good. The audience gonna like this, but what is your connections feeling? You know what I mean? You're not charming as him. Your mindset is thinking about the cameras too much, thinking about, okay, when this gets played back, how is this gonna come across? And sometimes as castmates, we think double like that. They don't want to admit it, but it's true. If you understand what I'm saying.
Right. Roro has a comment.
Yeah, so you're kind of playing.
Roro for real. Roro has a comment for you, Ron. She wants you to understand and say she feels that the camera does not give you a double chin nor a pot belly.
No, I understand he's a big boy. I can say he would look a little slimmer in public, in person. I've bet if I've seen him. But he ain't as big as he looked on TV. But yeah, it's still a big boy.
Oh yeah. I get it. Like I said, I get it.
But hey, don't they grow them big in Texas anyway?
Oh yeah. You know what, JR? You better stop. You better to stop, but we're gonna go ahead and get started. It seems like we didn't already got started on Marie, but we open up. We're at the Gentleman's Lounge with the Fabulous Five. There's Quentin, Phil, Herbert, Marie, and OG Chris. Which I guess now I don't have to call him OG Chris because now he's just Chris since the other Chris has went home. They all look dapper. I really like Chris. He had on this nice looking light blue suit. I thought he looked really dapper. All the guys look good.
Tommy was killing it.
Tommy, yes. Let's talk about Tommy for a second. Tommy is my cup of tea because Tommy and I, we in that age range like together, right? Tommy is my cup of tea. Tommy is not like fine, but fine like, yeah. If he wasn't married, now I know he's got a wife, and I'm not trying to disrespect Miss Tommy. Okay, Miss Tommy, I'm not coming for your husband or nothing. I know you got everything covered with him. But your husband, I have to say, he is just looking the last 2 seasons. I don't know, between, the health scare that we know he had about a year ago. Whatever he's changed in his diet, his skin is flawless. He's always dressed well. Tommy is looking good. Okay, like that's with a T on the end, like 3 T's. Uncle Nephew Tommy is looking good.
And that's probably goes back to what you were just saying. When you make a lifestyle change, your skin starts to glow. You lose a few pounds. You start to fit into your clothes better. So obviously with what Tommy went through, he's had to make that lifestyle change. He's always been a dapper dresser, like sharp in those suits and everything.
Yeah,
but he's a well-dressed guy and a well-spoken guy too. So
very much so. Yeah. So right. So we're in the lounge, and we're back in the lounge with the Fab Five, which of course Ron and I, we really relate to that Fab Five being Michigan people, right? Fab Five. So that's where that comes from. But Tommy says he's throwing a curveball to the men. The men will have to introduce their new ladies to their exes. And oh my goodness, all of a sudden the men have got stomach aches, they got tummy aches. They're like, oh no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. And but we go ahead and we learn that they're gonna do that. Do you guys think, I got some questions for you guys at this point. Do you men think that having a woman if this were happening in your life and a woman had to meet your ex, do you think that this would be helpful from your perspective to learn more about the woman that, is a potential serious relationship? Maybe you're thinking about marriage. How do you think that really works out, guys? Why don't we start with JR? Because I'm curious how the guys would view this.
No, it could be a good thing and a bad thing. It depends really on the type of relationship you had with your ex, because you were at a different stage in life. You were probably, you were younger back then. Depending on how long ago it was, it could have been a completely different person. In the sense that sometimes in relationships, people bring things out of you that others might not. So. I know that people use it as a barometer or a gauge to see the type of person you dated before them. And I don't always think that's helpful, because then you might start comparing yourself to that person, or, saying, oh, well, this is why you and them broke up. Oh, I can see that in him. So it can work both ways. Personally, depending on which ex it was, I wouldn't necessarily have a problem. But it's not something I would want to do, to be honest. Exes stay in the past. You can keep it cordial, keep it civil, but they wouldn't impact my dating choices going forward. I wouldn't use them for that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you have a lot of exes that you're still really close to? You hang out together, you're close friends with? I'm not talking about just cordial. I'm talking about beyond cordial.
No. Now, all my, the girls I've dated previously, if I saw them, most of them, probably 99.9% of them, it would just be a hi and bye, or, just a nod of the head and keep it moving. But Nah, there isn't like a let's hook up, let's chill together, or let's go shopping together. There isn't none of that.
Yeah, we
Just
ain't doing
cordial.
all
If it ends on good vibes, then that's all I'm really looking for. You don't have to
oh,
beef and argue and
yeah,
cuss each other out, curse each other and stuff. But
yeah.
at the same time, we're not going to hang out because they've got a life to live themselves, and I'm moving on with my life too. And I wouldn't want them in my.
JR, we're alike on that. We're alike on that. Like I've told our viewers on this show before, like I don't do back and forth. I don't do like the lovers that make up and break up and every 2 weeks they're broken up, or 2 months we're apart and then we come. I don't do that. You say goodbye to me, you say it's over, I'm like, okay, see ya, peace out. You ain't never got to tell me twice. And I'm like, I'm gonna be cordial, but I'm not gonna be calling you, and you darn sure better not be trying to call me, because you will get blocked. Ron, what are your, thank you, JR, for that. Ron, what are your thoughts about it? What, as a guy, what do you feel like you learned from this type of situation?
I think you can learn a lot as long as it was the last relationship they were in. Anything before that, I think is useless. Like when I had to meet Alexis' ex, and she couldn't find, her husband couldn't show up, her ex-husband. So she
Right.
went and got somebody all the way from college. Like 10 years ago, she had a baby.
You guys were in your 30s at this point, right?
So 15 years later, she'd have been married and had a whole kid. I couldn't learn anything from that guy, at all. So I'm just sitting there twiddling my thumbs, trying to think of some conversation to come up with, because it was useless. But I think if it's the last person, you can learn a few things, because what I learned about men from knowing a bunch of guys all around the country is we're different, but we're not that different. So it was something that kind of bothered him or was an issue for him. It could be an issue for you, because like I said, I know that everybody wants to think that, this is great, this great diamond in the rough, Prince Charming, no flaws guy, but we all men have flaws, and a lot of our flaws are kind of similar in some ways. So if something irritated him, it might irritate me. So I do want to hear about, their relationship with going. I make my own assessment, but I do want to hear about why they broke up, or what was his concerns and things of that nature, because 8 times out of 10, it might reminisce something that's going on with me. So.
Okay.
And also, can I just add, like, it depends, because you had like Quentin bring on someone who he wasn't even exclusive with, but he still classed her as an ex. Like, so what kind of ex?
They did say that. Like I was wondering, like, what was that about?
Exactly. So, well, what it was about is it wasn't really an exclusive relationship. So, is that really an ex then? What was that relationship? It could have been just a hookup or a few times, or whatever.
It might have been the closest he had to a relationship. Derek Jackson over there, you know what I mean? I told you he was telling everybody what they wanted to hear.
That's scary, right? Because at that point, if I'm on that date with them, we're gonna get to that. I'm scared. I'm nervous because of quite a few of these guys. Like we even heard OG Chris, his ex basically saying that he wasn't ready to settle down and so forth and so on. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know how far out. I guess the first thing, I don't know if they edited out of the scenes. I know there's a lot of stuff we don't see, but I guess the first question, you're right, Ron. The first question I want to know when I meet the ex is, how long ago did you guys date? When did you break up? What broke you guys up? These are all questions I want to know.
Yeah, and we saw that play out a few seasons back with what's his name, LJ. He brought his ex.
God, yes.
And they were still linking up, and she still said she loves him and all this other stuff. So the two prospective ladies that he was dating on the show were like, well, why don't you two just hook back up, because there's obviously still something there. And if you slept together recently, if you've been sleeping together recently, why go through this process,
Right. Why are you even here? Right.
Exactly. But thankfully we didn't hear none of that this time. It seems like a lot of those relationships are in the past.
But JR, did anybody ask? Did anybody really ask that question though? Because that was a bold question that she asked. And I mean, I think she asked it. I'm trying to remember, I'm talking about with LJ. But she asked it so nicely, and you know, it just came right out of the young lady's mouth, like, "Oh yeah, we've been kicking it,
Right.
you know, we friends with benefits."
That's because of the
like
chemistry. That's because of the chemistry that they both had.
Yeah,
it was obvious that Looney and I think it was Looney and Trinica, when they saw the chemistry between LJ and his ex, they were just like, nah, you know, we need there's something.
Something's
Right.
And speaking of chemistry, on these days, we're going to get to it, but on these days, was I the only one that felt like Q and his ex, there was like, you know, he's still trying to flirt with her when he first was like setting up and strategizing with her before the ladies came in and he was asking her questions. I don't know if, you know, it's part of they production tells him to say this stuff, but like she said, she like, nah, babe, you know, there's no love here. Like we're not getting into my personal business. We just gonna focus on what I'm here for, is what I got out of
exactly. Yeah. Because he was trying to like ask her what she's got going on now. Is she still single? And she said, no, love don't live here anymore. Something to that effect.
Love don't live here, from a famous song.
Mind your business. Yeah. So but again, this is one of the things with Quentin in particular. Like, he seemed to have a very cordial relationship with his ex. They seem like they're very cool. They still probably speak to each other, you know. But you know, I don't think it's enough for him to have turned off Janelle or Lee, because
wasn't it? You talking about Marie now or no?
No. Quentin still Q.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Q. Like, so yeah, it wasn't enough to turn any of those ladies off. They, you know, they seemed to go with the date, and you know, until Lee got upset, it was going quite smoothly. But you know, at the end of the day, it's going to be. I won't say it's going to. It could potentially be problematic because, you know, this is someone that he's dated before, who knows him well intimately, and these girls don't know him yet. They're trying to get to know him. So he may say something that throws him under the bus or reveals something.
We're still talking about Quentin, right? The way he walked off with his hand on
Janelle
derriere, made me as a viewer think,
right. Okay. But again, like you said before with Morier, right, and his age gap, there's an age gap between Quentin and Janelle. So, you know, is he lusting after the fact that she's older and she's a strong woman, and you know,
what did he tell JR? What did Q tell Janelle? Just was it last week? What did he say to her? We're going to do what?
What did he say? He said something to the effect of
sex.
We're gonna have hot and heavy time. We kind of changed.
Oh, sorry, libido.
That's okay. Yeah. We said, he said we're gonna have hot and heavy time, but you know, he said the sex word, right?
Yeah.
He said that to her. When a man says that to you, he's taking a lot of what's the word? He's taking a lot of liberty, right? He's taking a lot of liberty. He said that, and then to this week when he walked off with her, the way his hand was parked on her derriere showed ownership. So now, as a woman, I already know what that means.
What that mean?
What does that mean?
It means they've either, if they haven't already been intimate, they've been very close to it. Because what he said was, we're going to have hot and heavy time last week. And then this week he walked off with his hand on her derriere, with showing ownership. Come on now, guys. You guys.
Well, it could. I would say ownership. I would say sexual comfortness.
I would just say
comfortness. He's comfortable in that space.
Comfortability. Okay, comfortability.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would just say he's comfortable with public displays of affection with her, because Lee was, you know.
Me, but I don't know. I'm particular, but to me that's not even affection. You're not.
Well, if someone
to me is if you kiss me on my cheek, you give me a hug. When you start putting your hands and touching my breast, touching my backside, reaching in between my leg, that's either ownership or you trying to control me.
Okay, cool. I don't see it like that. Like
I didn't see it like that either.
No, I mean, but maybe because we're guys, we see it different.
Exactly.
Right?
But I'm telling you, but let's go back to his words. He said last week they were going to be intimate.
Right.
Why do you guys think he said that?
I think he was shooting his shot to see how far he if he could get it, and how she would react. And she didn't react in a way which
And
was
letting her know that he's comfortable. And that
exactly.
Exactly. And so then this week when he put his hand on her derriere, and once again, she didn't shoot him down. She walked right on away with him like, oh, this is comfortable for me too, right?
Right.
So all of these things that men do, I'm just telling you, okay, you're right. You guys have the male perspective, which is exactly why you're here. But all of these things that men do, they do it for a reason. And as a woman, I'm telling you, what I feel is a man, like you said, he does it because you said it, JR, shooting his shot. And it's also a way of seeing, like you said, if I'm comfortable enough with these touches, if I'm comfortable enough with him saying certain things to me. So, I mean, like I'm already looking at it again. Maybe I could be wrong, and I'm not saying I'm absolutely right, but there are some spaces, if I was there in person and I'm seeing this for myself, I'm looking at it on TV. For me, it looks like they've already been intimate, or they're on their way to the bedroom. That's what it looks like to me, and I'm usually not wrong about these things.
Okay.
No, I get what you're saying, Aubrey. And here's the cat in the room, and I hate to be the one to take it there, but the age difference and everything, he probably is looking like, I can get this. Why couldn't I get this? You know what I mean? Like, his what? I mean, let's face. Let's just tell the truth of the elephant in the room. His ex was fine, and he would not commit to her. He would not commit to her. So if he's not committing to her, you think he can commit to Janelle? Like, what's going on here? Derek Jackson is Derek Jacksoning. What the heck is going on?
You know what I saw in that scene? You know what I watched it over and over again. You know what I saw in that the last time I watched it, and I you guys don't. This is gonna be unpopular opinion, so don't get angry with me. But this is just me in my mature age and plenty of dating behind me and marriage. Okay, what I saw in that room was you got the ex, you got Janelle, and you had what was it, Lee, right? I see in the ex, she's got the face, not saying they look exactly alike or they're twins, but she had the face of more of Janelle. She had the body more of Lee. So you're right. So he got all of what he wanted in the package of the ex, and he still didn't commit to her. So I'm thinking, yeah, it's a wrap for the two ladies. Like,
it's a wrap. What Quentin is doing is doing this, and it happens. Like, I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. He is saying, "Hey, I am not ready to settle down. Janelle is the easier out. She's already willing to partner up, like she's doing with Jessica, things of that nature. She'll get me to the end, and I have an easy way out with her because I can always fall back on the fact that she's rushing to be in a marriage and have a kid, which people will understand that I'm not willing to do that because of my age difference and the age difference in general. So I have an easy out with her. I don't have an easy out with Lee if we made it to the end. So I can get all the way to the end, get my shine, leave this relationship in about 3 weeks after the reunion, and go get the woman I really want and be out of here." And that's basically what he's thinking. And she's cool enough to not have any hard feelings about it.
See, I see it differently. I think Lee's the easy out because Janelle's trying to put pressure on the guys to say, listen, I want to be engaged by the end of the year and I want to have a kid. So there's pressure there. So Quentin is kind of playing with her by going along with that if he knows that's what she wants and he doesn't want that. Whereas Lee,
the easy out does not have to do with the castmates. The easy out has to do with the audience. There's the pressure. When them people get in your your IG and start messaging stuff and say, as the male, and say, why you're not with her no more? What happened? It's all your fault. This and that. The guys understand that type of pressure is going to happen if they're linked up with a woman towards the end. They need an out. Jason didn't have an out with Liz. Dante didn't have an out with Oak. You know what I mean? They got terrorized for it. Joel didn't have an out with Benicia. He got terrorized for it. Men understand that. When I mean an out, they're not talking about their castmates. They don't care about that. They're talking about how the audience is going to vilify them as the male, because it's a woman's audience, 80, 90%, if they leave the relationship after the reunion or it does not last, with my ease out to get out without looking like the villain.
But isn't he going to look like the villain if he's kind of leading Janelle into believing that he's going to be down for what she's looking for, but ultimately he's not? Like he would rather not rush, rather not have a kid quickly. Like she's been adamant with Herbert and him about what she's looking for. So I think the attraction is there. I think there may be some chemistry there. You know, obviously the lust part may be there for him as well. But long term going forward, I agree with Ron in the sense where that age gap, I know that's not going to work. I can see that's not going to work. And eventually, when she realizes that he's not going to be rushing to get engaged and get married and all this stuff, then, you know, he will be the villain. No doubt about it. The way Janelle
I don't think so because of his age. Like if you're a 4-year-old man, the women audience is gonna be like, you should have your stuff together. What's wrong with you? You know what I mean? Like what da 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 da. But at 33, even the women and this type of audience, stuff like that, will give you a little pass. It's just too young of an age. Oh, Janelle already know what the deal is. Trust me, she in on it. But what I think, but you know what I mean? So she gonna give him a pass. I'm talking about the audience. That's all he cares about. That's why he's talking to Derrick Jackson for all the time. And they're gonna give him a pass to being 33.
I'm gonna say that with Janelle Ryan, I want to say this to you especially. I want to say with Janelle, although she's 41 and she, in my eyes, in my estimation, and probably yours too, she should know the deal with Home Team with Quentin. I'm gonna say because of the way she's moving on these IG streets, or she has been, because she's been, I think, quiet lately, and her immaturity, I'm gonna say that she actually doesn't know. She doesn't understand what is unspoken. And because he's saying the right things and he's talking about let's have hot and heavy time, he's her type clearly. She's turned on by him clearly. He's letting her know that, you know, he's willing to give it a go in the sheets. She's like a lot of women. She becomes foolish and delusional and thinking that a turn in the hay means that you're going to get that ring. And it does not mean that.
She's too smart for that, though. If 9 out of 10 of us know that the age difference is not going to work, you know what I mean? How does she not know it? She's supposed to be the smartest woman on the cast right now.
Wait a minute, but she's not smart enough to know that when she got to pull up on Katarina. So to me, a person that's 41 years old still pulling up on folks, that's not intelligent. That's not showing intelligence at all.
They called her a thug. She be thugging.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, what I'm trying to get you to understand and see is that, like, the difference between men and women, a lot of times we become emotional. And that thing, that savvy that we have in the boardroom does not always translate to the bedroom. It does not always translate to relationships. You see what I'm saying? So, like, she may be.
No, I get with the emotional things, but
she's gotten emotional about this. She's gotten into her feelings about Q. And then she's also, the other thing about her that I don't even think has anything to do with Q. I think it has a lot to do with who she is. She's a very jealous, competitive woman. And that's what's gonna never let her see her goals, because until she gets it through her head that the only competition is herself and getting better herself day by day, she's gonna always be lost, in my opinion. That's just me.
100%. 100%. I agree.
Yeah, and what I mean by smart, I mean by ready to love smart. She's playing the game well. Yeah. She's playing it as a Lee and a Sierra are like, I ain't really playing this game. I don't really care. If I don't have a strong connection, I ain't really with this. She's with it. She's willing to play. She's a competitor. She's with it. She's gonna play. And some of the, you see some of the other girls, even with some of the other girls, the cheerleader girl, they're not willing to play it fully. They're not willing to put on any kind of act or something like that. They ain't feeling the guys because they can't fake it. Some people can't. Some people can. She's able to adapt, and that's what I meant by smart. Now emotionally, I don't know anything about it. You're right. Women are emotional, and that could change everything. But I meant from how she,
And she's showing herself as being emotional and immature. I mean, like I said, I'm getting this from IG now. Not know what I see on the show, but what she has shown us on IG. Like, when I see a 41-year-old woman moving like that, like, I'm like, yeah, you're very immature. Some people say high school. I say middle school. I'm sorry.
Right.
JR,
well, in some,
go ahead.
in obviously in most cases you're gonna expect with an older lady that the guy has to act more mature in order to catch up with her. But in Janelle's case, it could be the case that she's more immature, so she's more down to, you know, his kind of age group in the way she behaves. But the long story short is what she's looking for is a fast track family. She wants to get engaged. She's not going to be the one asking for engagement. I guarantee you that. But she's trying to put that pressure on. And he actually said on one of their dates previously, he's with it. She specifically said she wants to get engaged and she wants kids. He specifically went along with it. So for me, I don't believe that he is going to do that. I think he basically just wants to knock the boots, and because she's attractive, but that's about it.
And he's gonna get a pass because of his age. She has every right at her age to want to fast track a marriage and kids. Let's not put that past. I think that's exactly what she would be doing. If that was my sister, I'll tell her that's what you should be focused on and doing. But you can only date what's there. It's 10 people. And they did not do a good job this year casting men 44, 48, 49. They missed that whole boat of age demographic when it came to the men, which would be maybe the type of man that she needs to be ready to, you know, to take that next step and maybe adopt or get, you know, married right away or be at that seasoned age. They didn't have it there. So from there, you just got to do what you got to do. I know we want to believe that you just pick 10 random people at the gas station and put them together and then they have to get together. But the fact of the matter is they missed I've been saying it from the beginning. They missed the age demographic when it came to picking the guys this year, where Janelle and some of the women that are 41, 42, 43, that's the age demographic they need to be dating if they're serious about marriage and getting it, you know, getting to that next step and building.
Yeah, I'm just laughing. Ellen over here talking about the Janelle is a Christian thug. I told her that's going on my gear, so don't get that to nobody else. That's an Aubrey original, started right here. Just like peeing and eggs, right? But anyway, guys, okay, so we moved through these cards. I gotta come back and I wanted to ask you guys your opinion on this. What did you guys think of Maurier using his ex Jessica to plot his strategy and find out where the lady's libido was as compared to his? Because I'm assuming he's saying it's like it's so high. It's so high that he got to have some women and theirs has got to be just as high as his. So what did you guys, I know what I thought as a woman. I didn't think a whole lot of that, but what did you guys think of that strategy?
I think what he tried to do in a roundabout way was gauge his connection's level of physical or sexual attraction to him. And that to me seems like a lack of confidence, or he's genuinely he's not in the know. He doesn't know how they really feel about him in that aspect.
If you gotta ask, you already know, but go ahead.
Right. But it's a process of elimination. So, you know, both ladies, they didn't want to answer that question. So they both let him know that, you know, it's over. You know, and coupled with the spirituality thing and the other things we spoke about, like that just ended those connections. So now he has to turn to what's her name? The fashion model. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Miss Birkin, Miss Birkenbag.
Miss Birkenbag, exactly. Now the thing is, there are some guys who have led with the sexual conversation, the libido talk, and look where it's got them. Right, your boy Marvin, he's home now. You know,
right? That's right. He's home.
Exactly, and he was doing it the most. And you know, they were intrigued, but they know that that's not who they want to date at the end of the day. And with Maurier, he doesn't have, like I said, he doesn't have the physical attributes that most women on the show are finding attractive. He isn't the eye candy. He isn't the Brandon, or he isn't the, you know, he doesn't have it like that. So I think he kind of chickened out and let his ex ask that question. And, you know, he got his answer. So can't be too mad.
Is it it just me, or as a woman, is it that I'm sensitive? And if I had to, let's say, ask my ex to fill out these other two men about, what their libido was like as it relates to me, I'm thinking that I'm missing a whole lot of cues along the way, because isn't a man and a woman, I mean, like, if you're into one another, one thing I got to give credit. Okay, I got to come back to Q for this. So at least Q, Quentin, he's verbally saying that he wants to have some type of intimate relationship with Janelle. At least he's touching her and putting his hand on her body in a way that's saying, you know what, I like what I see. Yes, ma'am. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if I gotta ask a guy to ask another guy, like, I'm already done with that situation. Like, I'm already assuming and knowing that you don't really want me in that way.
But that's not fair.
I've never been
you can't judge.
I've never been around a man that wanted me.
You can't judge Quentin over there with his 6-pack chilling there with Janelle and put in the same situation. I feel that Morier had the right. He has the right to know. He said, I like what he asking the question. Just get it out the way. Like, you know what I mean? He said, hey, I'm in the meat delivery business and I want to know who's in business. He wants to feel the women.
So good grief.
You want to know who's in business, because look at the women. He got 2 women that are very, I ain't gonna say to him, they've probably been more on the masculine side, right? So he's not getting that femininity that just comes with that sexy femininity, sexual being that's just in a woman that just comes out where you don't have to ask. These women are kind of masculine, especially towards him. Probably he's probably most of his conversation on the phone was probably about black issues and political issues and other castmates and things of that nature.
Right.
So when he needs to know.
Right.
If he has a high libido, he needs to know.
Right. Mm-hmm. But if these women are in fact masculine in their movements, he would already know. This is what I'm saying. This is what you're.
But what I'm saying is, with them blaming on.
If I want a man and he has not made a play for me, he has not stated his interest in me, trust and believe. If I'm in that space, I'm single and available. He's going to know that I want him in that way. So how are you telling me that these women are masculine, but yet they show no interest in him physically?
Why they gassing them up then? They still there. They should just be honest with him then and say, hey, I don't feel a sexual attraction there. Why don't women ever do that? So we blame the men for taking a shot, but the women never. A woman who would take that free chicken, a free steak, and not tell a man that, hey, I might not be 100% sexually attracted to you. You might have to grow on me. This might take months or might not never happen, but I really enjoyed a nice dinner, and I'll keep doing this because you're not making no passes at me, and I feel comfortable.
I can see your points in this, because there are a lot of women that will string a guy along, just like there are men that will string women along. I see your point. When I was young,
and he needs to know, because he's saying, yo, I understand that y'all may be stringing me along, but I have a high libido. I like sex. So I have to at least find out if someone's on that page with me. And if it ain't, then my connection ain't here. But if it is, okay. But yeah, he gets asked 2 of the wrong women, I think, because I think he asked Sierra, she was with it. I bet if he would have had a connection with Kara, which she didn't because of the whole black issue thing, but I bet she would have been like, oh yeah, I'm down with some sex. But I think, and as a man, I need to start doing it. Me traveling around the world and stuff like that, I kind of figured out that American women has a relationship with sex that is different than the rest of the world. And I don't know if it's because of our media or how we were raised and things of that nature, but we're
not as verbal as what you're trying to say, because I'm really trying to understand this, and we're gonna just try to use intimacy. Intimacy.
I'm sorry. Well, we kind of use.
Women aren't able to verbalize or even physically demonstrate that they're interested in you and they want an intimate relationship with you. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think we kind of demonize women in their libido, having a normal high libido and being proud about that and saying that. We've kind of put that tag on it through our country and the media and things of that nature. I think we've said that women's sexuality is better, worth more than the men. So women need to use that as a weapon, manipulation or whatever purpose to get what they want. not necessarily in enjoyment and understanding that once you make that transaction with a man, it's an even transaction. You guys are both need each other in order to finish the situation. And it's not as big of a deal as we put it as in other countries. They look at it as just, okay, we just had sex. No, you know what I mean? It's not that big of a deal. I think we put a lot of emotion, we put a lot of everything into it, and it's just a hot mess. And I think men, we get the mental brunt of it, right? And I think if a man has a high sexual drive, he don't want to play in these games anymore. He should do what Mario did and just ask, "Hey, what's going on here? Anybody willing to play this normal? And if not, they need to move on." But this whole women know that men want sex. They know that. So just playing that game of, nah, I'm gonna hide it here. You have to wait here. I need this many dates here. I'm gonna act like you don't want it. All this other stuff that's going around with it. It's just a mental game. It's mental illness to a man. Men need to stand up and say,
mental illness, oh Lord.
It's mental illness. Yeah, it's manipulation. And they need to say, hey, no, if you want to have sex with me,
go ahead.
Then it should be okay. If we grown, if we have a mental connection, emotional connection, and everything is as cool on that point, then the rest of the situation is just a physical transaction. And that's all it is. And to hold anything else over anybody's head before or after that is just not right.
JR,
Right.
weigh in on this. What are your thoughts? Because I'm listening. I see benefits to what Ron is saying. I think he's saying let's be adults about this whole thing, right?
Of course. Because if you don't have a healthy relationship with that side of yourself and that aspect of your relationship, then you're not going to have a long lasting or good one. And you need to overcome whatever issue or hang up you have with that, because it's a healthy aspect of all relationships. That, you know, there's a physical attraction and there's an intimacy level. And if the intimacy level isn't there or the physical attraction isn't there, then you're going to get insecure about yourself and maybe project those insecurities into your relationship. So, you know, his other connection, Sierra, she said she wants to try the vehicle before she purchases it. I think she said something along those lines, right? When she was asked about intimacy and all of that. So she's more forward and open than Janelle and what's her name? Jessica. Yeah. Like both of them, they're just like, oh no, you know, maybe Morier doesn't have the keys to unlock the fires. But you know, at the end of the day, he can definitely tell by the conversations that they've had up to this point where he stands with them. And I think this was just the clarification that he needed, that there's no intimate you know, there's no intimate attraction there.
Right.
It was clear on all three, even though I think him and Jessica actually, it's not a bad match. But with Sierra, she was basically saying, yeah, I'll test drive the car. But then remember at the end, she said, oh, they're going to put in a whole bunch more work. What basically meant, yeah, you can get this, but you better buy that Chanel bag first.
Yeah, or that Birkin bag.
Yeah, you're gonna have to prove to me on gifts and treatment and all this other stuff, and you have to do a bunch of roller coaster stuff to get it, and he's not willing to do that, so that's not gonna be a sexual connection. And I like Janelle, I can understand that not being a sexual connection, but Jessica I think she might need to loosen up and maybe give it a go around.
Well, you're missing the point. I mean, JR, is it just me? Help me out here with Ron. Ron, you're missing the point. Janelle and Jessica aren't attracted to him. They aren't attracted to him. They, like, you know, I said a moment ago, I said that Mario, he gets on my nerves with his politicking, but to be honest and totally transparent, the two ladies, he's their key to staying on the show, right?
I understand that part. I'm saying in Jessica's situation, she has the best conversation with him. He's able to tolerate some of her masculinity and things that I think that she needs to rethink the looks.
Why didn't he ask her when they were having one-on-ones outside of the show? Why didn't he ask her then about, hey, you know what? Like, you know, you can start with sometimes a conversation, asking a question is actually confiding and telling someone what you like. Like, so
She doesn't bring that energy. Everybody said even on a date with Chris, she don't bring that energy. That's basically what Chris's ex was saying. She does not bring any feminine sexual energy towards this situation.
Wait. But listen.
Suck the energy out of the room.
Yeah, listen. But if I'm asking a question, sometimes asking a question is actually telling something and getting a response. So if I'm him, I'm saying, you know what? This is the way I am. When I'm in a relationship, I oftentimes, I'm going to get down this many times a week. I like to be affectionate. I like this, that, the other, the third. I'm not going to, say name everything, but you get what I'm saying, right? And when you do that, when you say something about yourself, then the next time the person now can respond back, call and response. They can say, well, you know what? When I'm in a relationship, blase, spleen, blah, blah, blah. But if you're always not knowing how to phrase a question, sometimes some things are a little sensitive, but you're never sharing yourself, then why should somebody be vulnerable and share what they like with you?
Because she's the woman in this kind of process. They're supposed to be the one that kind of initiates that talk. You know what I mean? Like I'm a sexual guy. I was dating Alexis. Alexis is a sexual woman. I didn't know. Y'all saw it before I did because you seen her talk about the other guy, AJ, and some of the other guys. But when I found out, I was like, okay. But she brought it towards me. I didn't feel comfortable bringing it towards a woman in this atmosphere, right? They're saying this, maybe a little more with Chrysanthemum, but
too. Was it also the fact that she?
Had a little go to her. You know what I mean? It was cool. Like I think a woman embracing her sexuality and knowing what she wants is 2020. I mean, come on now. Yeah. Like we should be over all that.
It's sexy. It's sexy for grown people to be grown people and be able to stand in.
Yeah, I like a woman. You her sexuality and her femininity and stuff like that. I don't see it with Jessica, she's an attractive woman. It's making her look less attractive on the show. And I think he was probably afraid to say anything on the phone because their conversations weren't going in that way. She hasn't kissed anyone. You know what I mean? She probably has not put her arm around a man and rubbed his neck or did anything of that. So where am I getting any kind of notion of where this could go sexually? Because a man has to be able to visualize it in his head in order to continue in a relationship with a female. I have to be able to visualize when and where and how we going to be having sex somewhere in the future. Quentin already even visualized his with Janelle. I already know how this is going to go down. Mari's trying to get to that point too. He's like, I deserve that too. Where is mine? My visualization, where is this going to go? And they're not giving it to him.
Nope. Because the attraction isn't there. And the thing is,
that's what I keep saying, JR. Nobody's listening to me though.
Right. But the thing is, like when you have conversations with somebody, I'm assuming that the atmosphere in the conversation will lead naturally to those type of discussions. And if it isn't getting there after multiple times of speaking to them, then you must press the button and the emergency stop button and ask, where is this actually going to go? If we haven't had those conversations about intimacy and all of that, so you're probably not feeling me. So, is it time to leave this competition and you can continue your journey with Chris and Herbert and Quentin, So I think Morier is the odd man out in the equation anyway. They're not feeling him. They weren't feeling the tarot cards. They're not feeling the libido talk. They're not feeling anything about Morier like that.
Thank you. That's where I wanted to get to next. Is just real quick because we've done a great job of discussing this. I want to ask you guys. And I don't know. I know I'm a believer. I'm what people call a Christian. We actually call it believers, but I don't know where you guys are in your faith walk or your religion, or if you're metaphysical. But what was your reaction or your thoughts to the ladies' reaction? That was Janelle and Jessica's reaction to the tarot card that his ex-girlfriend brought out and wanted to do a reading of these ladies. What were your thoughts about that?
Well,
I can see why it would be weird, right?
Yeah.
But I can also see, like, his beliefs are okay. He just had to have that conversation, and I believe he's probably already had that conversation with the ladies. But on TV, this is a Christian show. This is Oprah. gonna play out the whole God role and stuff. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things on the show. I'm a big believer and stuff like that. I'm in Bible study. I like it, but they try to play it something different just on my season that I was not that. And like I'm dating Alexis, who's in church all the time, and we ain't had that conversation from day one, you know, what our spirituality is and where we're going and stuff like that. So I believe those conversations are a lot easier to have than the sexual conversations. So I believe Maury has had those conversations with both of the ladies already. But yeah, you bringing tarot cards to me, somebody else's. I'd have looked at it like they did. Like, this is kind of weird. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
You brought your own cards.
Me guys to tell you when I was maybe 12 or whatever, and me and a girlfriend, we did that thing from the scene from The Exorcist, where we went in with the Ouija board. Remind me to tell you guys what happened with that. Okay, not a good story, but JR, what were your thoughts about? Thank you about that for that, Ron.
Well,
JR, what were your thoughts?
This isn't the first time we've seen tarot cards being introduced to the show, so I don't know why they keep repeating that thing. You know, last season they did it in a cut scene. It wasn't shown on the TV, but it was on an exclusive. They had a tarot card reader come in to and read some of the couples and the participants, tell them what their future holds for them. And you know, if you're steeped in Christianity, if your beliefs are steeped in Christianity, and you're going to find those things quite occult and something you want to distance yourself from. You're not going to believe in it. And ultimately, if you're looking for a guy like Janelle and Jessica claim to be, you know, they want a guy who's in the faith that they're in, because they want him to kind of align and be equally yoked and all that other stuff. so Morier, him being into that, I don't think he shared that with the ladies, which is why they were so disappointed. And I think he even said in his confessional, you know, he wishes he would have said it earlier, rather than wait till when he did. But ultimately it would have come out anyway. So it's just something that's further going to turn them off of him. And everyone's entitled to believe what they want to believe. Maybe he had a negative experience. Maybe those spiritual crystals and things like that align with more of how he views the world or whatever.
Well, he's a Pan-Africanist, right? So like a lot of them don't believe in white Jesus. You know what I mean? Like in their head, it throws them off. Yeah. So I see his point.
Exactly. A lot of people don't believe in that stuff. Yeah, each to their own, but it's definitely not for him. And that's how him and his ex connected anyway. Like they said that they connected through spirituality.
Which seemed like they were on the same line. Did they say why they broke up? Anybody remember that?
No, they didn't. I didn't hear. Did you hear, JR?
Because he said a line that, you know, I kind of messed up. Not that he kind of want that back, but it was kind of in lines of that. It sounded like, if I remember right.
Maybe he cheated on her. Who knows? We don't know. That's what I say. Those are the questions that if I'm the ladies and I'm there, I'm gonna ask. How long did you guys date? How long were you together? How long ago did it end? And what ended it? Why did you guys break up? What was the reason? Yeah,
but you know? I mean the problem with that though, Aubrey, is it was for the ex to kind of, you know, vet them.
Yes. So, but if you notice, the smarter women, the strategic women, I'm not going to say smarter, but the strategic women in all of these years and all these seasons that we've been watching, you're also able to get in questions. You know, nobody says you can't ask questions.
No, that's true, but they're not interested. That's why they didn't ask any. They're not interested in money.
Which goes back to what I said about the hot and heavy time and the intimacy. They don't want
exactly. So that's why that conversation didn't take place either. They're not feeling the brother. They got other connections that are stronger, and you know, he's unfortunately at the position where he's disposable. Like Janelle's got 2 stronger connections, Jessica's got at least 1. So you know, they're not really checking for Maria like that. So,
but Jessica better watch it. And speaking of Jessica, okay, so we see OG Chris and his ex Valerie, they sit down until Aries and Jessica joined them. Now, Chris says that Aries came in and she's charming and sweet, but he said that Jessica was loud. And then it kind of devolves from there because she wanted a hug from his ex. The ex was kind of like, you know, and then he said like the whole mood in the room changed. What do you think? What do you think about that? What changed the mood? Was she really that loud? Because I rewatched it again and I'm kind of like, well, you know,
No.
she's kind of regular. So I don't know. Like if you know, if being African, if being Nigerian, if you got a different expectation, then maybe you should stay within your community. Because you're not gonna American women are not socialized like Nigerian women, nor do we want to be. Okay? All right.
Yeah, that's true. But his ex isn't African. His ex is African American.
But she was very sweet and demure. No, you're right.
Exactly.
You're right.
Exactly. So,
but you trying to compare apples and oranges, and I'm just saying, like, I don't get it. I didn't really get or see anything that she said or did that was really loud and out of the way. I didn't get that.
No, I don't think that's what he was saying. I think her demeanor and her attitude spoke louder than what she was actually saying. So that's why the ex also said as soon as she came in, it's like the mood just changed. It just dampened. And that's the contrast between Aries and Jessica. Aries, bubbly, lively, smiling, you know, seems, whereas Jessica's the opposite. She kind of dampened the mood. I think that's what they were both trying to say. You know, I think that goes back to the whole masculinity thing and the whole thing about him wanting her to speak to him differently than she speaks to her employees. You know, there's something about her demeanor or her affect which is quite, you know, it doesn't allow him to want to get close to her. Like there's something that's pushing him away in the way that in her mannerisms. And, you know, that may be uncomfortable for her to hear, but unfortunately, not everyone's going to like the package that she brings. She needs to find someone else. You know, if she has a problem with speaking to him kinder or softer, you know, she's not going to do that. And then, you know, in this particular date, you know, let's be real, Aries came across a lot better. And even the ex said that, you know, hands down, Aries is like the one that clearly won that round. So
yeah, this ain't gonna work. I got a friend, best friend, Nigerian. He's my business partner, and we on the car lot together. He's just like Chris. Both kind of shorter, have a little short man complex. Both professionists at probably everything they want to do, because kind of like the ex kind of said. And he ended up getting engaged to a woman, and he liked her a lot. It just wouldn't work. He had to go back to like Jehovah's Witness temple to get a woman who was on that rule set to be able to do what his ex said she had to do. She had to basically be submissive and go with his program and be the help take. And and in that religion, that's how it works. And in the Nigerian culture, sometimes that's how it works. But that's a person that's that big of a go-getter, perfectionist, everything. That's what they need. I mean, it just is what it is. And her being a more of a masculine, independent woman and stuff would never work with a guy named Chris. They work too hard. Them guys go hard. I mean, like him, my friend Jonathan, they go hard every day. There's no time for independent woman with her own many stuff going together and different her needs and things of that nature. Y'all both can't want both. Y'all both. I say this all the time. You both can't want a helpmate. That ain't how that works.
I used to tell the guys that I work with in this big old truck, I used to say, I need a wife. And they would look at me like, oh, she's that girl, you know, like thinking I was maybe, you know, gay or lesbian or whatever. And I wasn't saying that, but what I'm saying is if I'm working this job, I'm doing electrical and I'm working all these hours, I'm working like 16 to 24 hours a day, working overtime during storm season. And I need a wife. I need somebody to make my lunch, make my dinner, rub my feet. That's what I was saying. I mean,
there's men out there to do that. It's okay. I wish more women who, if you're going to be in the workplace and do all that, I wish they would. Then the dynamics have changed. I wish the women will get with the program and say, "Okay, I am not that type of woman. I'm this type of woman, and my needs are going to be different." Because if you're in the rat race like I am every day,
Right.
you're me. You working like a slave every day, like I am. You going,
Like
you doing.
like a Hebrew, Ron, like a Hebrew I was working back
Yeah,
then.
it is. It is what it is. Like my dad used to always say, like when he saw like the independent like women be like, "Oh, I'm a bad bee. I'm a boss chick." Something like my dad be like, "You ain't bad. Why you a bad? You getting up every day in the morning, going to work, slaving every day like I am." He's like, "My wife is bad. She's sitting at home watching movies every day while I pay all the. That's a bad bitch. You ain't a bad bitch." Like, so,
between these two lifestyles. I'm torn between because the real me at the core of me, because I had a dad that was that guy. I want a man, he's got to have leadership, he's got to have these things. So I don't know if that doesn't usually go together. You don't find a man that's all that and then he's rubbing your feet too. So I don't know. That's the modern dilemma of dating. That's the modern dilemma, right?
it's the modern dilemma of dating, and women and men need to get it together on the new. If we're gonna make a new rules regulation on these roles, then we need to get together and get these things solid because it got to be roles. And like I said, it's not fair to tell a man, oh, you know, in a marriage, you got to do, you know, you can't get sex whenever you want to and stuff, but oh, you're not a man if you're not paying 100% of the mortgage, or you can't, you know what I mean? Some of these things don't even make no sense, like within the fairness of the situation. And if you're going to be with a man like Chris, who's going to be go-getter every day, this and that, trying to be perfection at everything he is, you trying to get your, you know what I mean? It's going to be some stuff missing there. You're going to have to be the type of woman to say, okay, I like the way he's going. I'm going to roll with it. And his wife, Jonathan, my friend, is just like Chris. He's married, and his wife goes with everything. That you have to be a submissive woman by nature. And what helps you along with that is if your religion is with that, if your culture is with that. It helps a lot. In America, we don't have a lot of strong religion anymore, or strong culture, or even strong family values that grew up in that way. So it's tough.
People, I agree with you. As a black people, you were going to say, JR?
I was going to say it's picking and choosing, because in one instance, Jessica was with Morier saying, you know, certain things don't align with her belief system and this, that, the other. But, you know, the way she actually, presents herself to Chris, it's as if she's not down with the traditional element of the relationship either. And, you know, like I said, if you look at Aries and you look at Jessica on that date, like if you think Jessica is a better match for Chris than Aries is, like personality wise, then you're not watching the right, you're not watching the chemistry. No guy, well, I won't say no guy, hardly any guys who get up and work every day, and you know, we don't want to come home to us. We don't want to come home to someone who's exactly like us. Yeah, you worked every day hard, and you got your gripes and everything, and like just like we do, you're doing the same shift, you're doing the same work patterns, you come home, you got the same demeanor, the same mindset, the same tone. No, you're not one of the boys. You're actually meant to be the softer side, you know, the lady in the equation. So that whole femininity and, you know, that dynamic is really attractive to a lot of guys in you know, if you're working a full career like that.
You're right. But JR and Ron said it, and JR, you're saying it too. There's a cost to being a boss, though. And it seems to me like a lot of times in this modern dating world that we're in now, men want to say they want the submissive traditional woman, but they don't want to do the things necessary that keeps us soft, that helps us to relax and be vulnerable and be soft and be in our femininity. But for me myself, I'm gonna stay either by myself or only with a man that allows me to have that feminine side, because once he's brushing up against me and he's all brusque and harsh and he's not helping support me, then I see that that's not the person for me. Because, and I want to just say this, what did you guys think about getting back to Chris? So Chris is wanting all these different things. It was sounding to me like it was a whole dang on job being his woman. And then all that said, the young lady was all soft and demure that he brought on. She was beautiful, everything. I liked everything that I could see about her in that moment. But he didn't even want to settle in with her. So what's the point of me doing all this? And what do I get out of it? I don't get
and this is what I was saying before. Like, there's a downside to meeting the exes because she had what he claims to be looking for now, but at that time he probably wasn't ready for it. And you know, just like you said,
and that's not even
like
the child's mother. So I'm kind of counting women here. You got all these good women, but you ain't interested in marrying none of them. Now my thought process is a little different because I tend to be very logical in how I accept information. So okay.
Right. But that was one woman. So, you know, we don't know if the others were like that. But the thing is, you're right. I did pick up that he had a lot of the stuff he claims to be looking for in Jessica, he had that in his ex, and it didn't work. So something obviously went wrong there, right? But you know, let's be real. Us guys, men out here, we get a lot of attacks on our masculinity as well from women. If we have too much ego, if we are too steadfast in what we believe in, then you know it's a problem, because you don't want us to be so rigid. You don't want us to be so masculine. You don't want us to you know, overpower you and dominate the relationship, dominate the conversation. It's intimidating for some of you. But the problem is in the faith that Jessica says she believes in, and that she was saying to Morier she believes in, the faith actually says that she's supposed to be a helpmate. So, you know, she's picking and choosing, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're trying to customize it to work around what you believe and how you want to act in a relationship sense. But ultimately, she's too hard for what Chris is looking for. Like, you know, she's a boss lady, or fair play to her, all the power to her for building her coffee business and all that stuff. It must have been very difficult. It's probably a competitive market. Definitely. But if you can't switch that off when you come home to your partner, if you can't be the girlfriend in the situation, then you're going to struggle to find a relationship. You can have the career, but you can't have your career mindset with someone like Chris, who's looking for a more demure lady.
Wow.
And Chris, let's face it, in his culture, most of those Nigerian guys on that level and stuff like that, they end up marrying a Nigerian. Well, it's just easier. It is what it is. And that's probably why the other girl had all the attributes and was trying her hardest and stuff like that and never got the ring, because it's almost programmed in these guys culture-wise sometimes to say, hey, it's just easier to just grab somebody from the culture.
Yeah, but he also
I have my fun, I'll play around, I'll do what I got, you know, whatever like that. But, you know, when it's all said and done, it's just easier this way.
Right, but he also did say earlier on in the season that he was actually given an arranged marriage with somebody in his culture, and he didn't want that. He wasn't
ready yet. That most of the Nigerian guys I know, they get a even with the family, they'll get a 10 to 12 year span to go play, but they all end up going back to marry somebody from the culture, in love or not, because it's just easier. They have a different culture than we have as Black Americans sometimes, and it's just easier for them to go back when they're done, said and did all that. Because like even with the religion thing, most of them will go 10, 12 years without doing any religion, and then they go back to, if they're Jehovah's Witness, they'll go back to strong Jehovah's Witness, they're 40 or strong Christian, you know, whatever that is that their family values in, because it's just easier, it's in them already. You know, I got to go back to that. I know it, I have to sooner or later. I'm having fun now, but I got to go back. And that's kind of how the thinking is. And like I said, I know a lot of Nigerian friends down in Houston is the biggest population in the country. And it's just kind of what it is.
Yeah.
But
another Nigeria down there in Houston. I saw that when I was down there years ago. I mean, you know, even
but with Jessica, that's why I said two things. With the Moray situation, he's okay with that. With her strong demeanor stuff. That's why I was hoping that she could give him more chance on the looks category because I think he's one of the type of guys that go with the flow. And let's not get it twisted. There's a lot of guys that just go with the flow with stuff like that. Not every man is an alpha. You know what I mean? Every guy come different. And some guys want their woman to be a little more dominant, domineering. Even when he called Janelle, he's like, even my man, I don't know if they're talking enough, the guy with the dreads, stuff like that. Herbert, yeah, he seemed like he'll accept a woman that's a little more domineering and masculine and stuff like that, and he'll just go with the flow like that. So there's plenty of men like that. They just have to be attracted to that type of male. And
Exactly.
but what Chris, why do we never seen a Chris in Lee connection? Is what always threw me off.
That's what I was gonna say. Thank you for bringing that up. Who was it in the comment section, guy? Somebody was in the comment section. We had just briefly touched on them. That's what I was saying when I was looking at all the characteristics that he was into. I said I felt like Lee would have been a better situation. But wait a minute.
Very good match.
Speaking of Lee, what did you guys think about how Quentin treated her by saying, did it feel like it was a little disrespectful, a little out there for him to say, like, well, when I ghosted her the other day, blah, 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 blah. Like, she turned right off. And we never saw her come back out. Like, she was sunny and bright, but when he said that, she was like, she was done. She was like, I'm out of this. And he says that she shrunk, but I kind of got where she was at that moment because I'm a person that sometimes I can shut down. But I think that I would have faked it. Like, I remember one of my old mentors used to say, fake it until you make it. Just fake it. I would have faked it. Sometimes she used to say, sometimes you have to be an actress in life. And that's a true thing. Sometimes you're in a business meeting, people will offend you of the non-melanated type. They will say all kinds of things that you like, what? They say what? But you gotta, sometimes you just gotta be an actress or be an actor.
Or have thick skin, right? And Lee, Lee didn't have that. And I can see her point because it was literally like Quentin kind of dissed her by saying, look, I ghosted you. Like he told her to her face.
In front of everybody.
It was disrespectful. It was disrespectful from a castmate standpoint. Very disrespectful.
That's what I thought.
Definitely. So, that kind of been easy to take, especially if she has, it would rock anybody. It would rock anybody. But that was her saying, I'm checking out because there's no point. If he's ghosting at this stage and, he's clearly got a connection with Janelle, then she knows where she stands with him right now. So, even if she didn't take it offensively and continued the date, the fact of the matter is he's already admitted that he ghosted her and he didn't seem to have any care when he said that. In fact, like you said, Aubrey, he walked away with his hand on Janelle's booty. So, and
I think it's because he doesn't have a pure, true connection on the show. It's easy to go with Janelle. Production likes her. We know that, and he's seeing that. So hey, I'll line myself with this situation. She's willing to play the game with me, and everybody else, like, I don't got no connection with. So this is where I'm gonna park at. And then we already know we all agree with the age difference and everything else is going on, her time frame, everything that is not gonna work anyway. And he knows that. She probably knows that. He does not see no other connection with anybody else. He's gonna park. He wants to make it to the end because he's a super competitor, and he's gonna park his way with Janelle. And it finally came out organically in Lee's space.
Yeah, and I think the competitiveness with Quentin over Janelle is basically because Herbert's interested. That's all it is. Like he just wants to leave with the girl instead of Herbert. There's no shade about it. He said before, like, it's a competition, let the games begin type thing.
Yeah, he did, big time.
Yeah, exactly. So he's just out to win the girl.
And he's an athlete. He's an athlete. He's been in sports. He's a competitor. He's a fitness person. He's a very competitive people. I work with him every day in fitness training. And sometimes people grasp onto the game aspect of this show and can roll with that. It's two parts to this show. I tell them every time. There's a game show when there's elimination involved, and there's a love aspect to it. Which one you're willing to play is up to you, but you usually can't play them both and still be authentic.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. I just was wondering about that. And thank you for saying that, JR. and Ryan, because I struggle with, like, why did he say that in front of the other two ladies? Like, for you to say that one on one, we're talking on a date, and you say, well, oh, I ghosted you a while back because blase spleen, blah blah blah. But you're gonna say that in front of my competition, and your ex. That was disrespectful, I thought. So
He sounds real confident. Like him and Janelle are going to go to the end. They already talked about everything good. I hope production throws a monkey wrench in that plan, which they do sometimes. I hope they throw a monkey wrench in that plan. But right now, he feels like, oh, this is a set deal. I can just chill. You know what I mean? Like, me and her going to be in together. That's this guy's going to roll. And we already talked about it. Everything good. She ain't going nowhere because she's a strong contestant on the castmate on the show. Production like her. I'm just going to align with this. We just going to go all the way. But like I said, sometimes they throw a monkey wrench in there for the drama aspect of it. So I'll be looking for a cliffhanger later. But that's how his mindset is right now. Trust me. We've all been there. That's castmates.
Okay. Well,
See, I just think Quentin's trying to get to the yams with Janelle. That's it. Nothing else. There's no longevity. He's physically attracted to her. And like I said, the competition element is more important. Like, he knows Herbert and her had a good connection. You remember he was loitering around trying to, eavesdrop, trying to block their connection when they were laying out in the garden or whatever. And, he's got that eye of the tiger now. He's like, right, I'm going to get this girl from Herbert. No shade. You can both try, but I know I'm going to get this. I'm going to see those yams, and then I'm going to leave. The age gap is going to play a part, and her rush to do what she wants to do is going to play a part as well. At 33, he's not in the same stage of life that Janelle is. So I don't see it working.
Now, what did you guys think about when Janelle was telling on the date with Herbert, when she got to meet Herbert's ex, and she was telling, all of a sudden she was just mapping it all out, well, I need to be engaged by the end of this year. And I think we're gonna adopt some kids and da 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 da. And she was just on a roll. I was like, lady, slow down. What did you guys feel about that? Because I was like, you're saying too much. Even if I think that and if I feel that way, I'm not telling him all of that right now.
No, I think. Yeah, go ahead, Ron. You go.
I feel that, let's be honest, ladies. She going to expect something different out of Herbert than she's going to expect out of Quentin. And with Herbert, she's going to want to hear security. She's going to want to hear ready to have a family. She's going to hear marriage soon because he's older. And with Quentin, she's going to want to, she might not be throwing all that out there like that for him. Just like with Morier, and let's say Morier and Sierra, you better start talking about some money and spending and gifts and that you cool and stuff like that. Where if it was another guy who was kind of had some clout in her industry and it was very good looking, kind of like that 6'4" guy you was talking about, Aubrey later, that she wouldn't be asking for all that. Probably, you know what I mean? So women want different things from different guys. And it a lot of times depends on those guys' age and their looks and everything else there. So with him, she wants, if you want me, Herbert, you want to come with it on this type of stuff.
This year, you better put a ring on this finger.
Yeah. Now, Quentin, if you want these yams, you might not have to do all that. We can chill. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
take me to a decent dinner, something a little bit over Outback. And you can, we cool. Herbert, you might have to do a little more. You got to put a ring on it. You had to set a date. You had to cut all the pressure. I ain't putting no pressure on nothing. You got to do all the pressure, all the work. I'm just chilling. You might get a grilled cheese sandwich. Maybe. I might make one. Maybe.
Ron, people can say what they want about you, but you bring the cold, hard facts to dating. I'm sorry. I stand by it. I said it. You bring the cold, hard facts, and the ladies better get in line because he's telling you what men really think. And that's the difference between Ron and Amari, for example, that's out there politicking, saying what you want to hear rather than what the truth of the matter is.
Well, some people want the truth and they can't handle the truth, right?
That's it. A lot of them can on this show. We've seen that time after time after time.
Exactly. But yeah, Ron's right. One guy's gonna have to jump through hoops and cartwheel and backflip and somersault and jazz hands at the end, while the other guy is
He's
just
got to
gonna
be a
get
whole gymnast.
the taste of stuff, you know.
He's got to be a whole gymnast and everything.
Exactly. But yeah, like it's interesting because obviously in Janelle's the way she articulated what she wants with Herbert now is definitely saying, wait a minute, we didn't discuss adopting, now I want my own kids. You know, you're talking about all these different things. We're not aligned on certain things. And so, you know, in his confessional, he was basically putting the brakes on and saying, whoa, nah, you're going too far. Like we need to date first. We need to see a lot of things, how it works after the show. We're not going to just plan everything out now. And, you know, it's not going to go like that. So they still have some talking to do. I feel like their connection.
No more talking.
Yeah, their connection has definitely waned from where it was.
There's no way that guy is about to adopt the child with you.
No, it's not happening. It's not happening.
His swimmers are going to see. They're going to find the seeds that they need, and they're going to reproduce. He said that. He said, I still got swimmers.
Yeah,
Janelle got to be okay with saying, hey, I could do one and done, and I got to move quickly. And I tell this to any of the women that's in the foyer, like, you know what I mean? Liz on our season, she want a kid. Hey, get a one and done somewhere. I'm with that. Right. Understand your age, understand what's going on, understand your plan. I don't like women in delusional la land. I like them understanding, okay, this is what's going on. I need to find a man who is stable, who is good, who wants a kid. That's, you know what I mean? It's going to be there, a good father first, and I'll worry about all the aesthetics and all that stuff later and stuff. And let's go. Let's get this kid out while I still can. And I might just have to be one and done with it. If that's what you really want in life, it's your life. If you really want to be a mother and you want your kid to look like you and stuff like that, I'm all for. And you waited a little late in the game, I'm all for you trying to correct that by trying to have a kid, 41, 42, 43, but you got to be on it. It has to be number one priority. It can't be number priority. Now it can't be corporate America and boss chick. Now your number one priority is meeting someone and popping a kid out. And you might get to be one and be a one and done thing. And if you want to after that, that's fine. But if that's something you really want, there's no shame, ladies, in saying, I'm getting close to that age. I need to make some moves.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
That's true. But also, we don't want to have a baby mama, baby daddy situation, right? Like,
no. That's what I'm saying. You need to start. What you're looking for in a man now should change. Then you should be looking for a man who's ready to be a father, who is a good father, a father who's stable and can support a kid, instead of looking for a guy in the Jordans or who got the nicest Armani suit or who's 6'4", who's this and that, or who's money. No, you gotta say, hey, my priority right now is to have a kid because that's what I dreamed of my whole life, and it's getting into an opportunity where I might not be able to do that. So therefore, I can make money. I can make money later. I could be the boss chick later. I can do all this stuff down the line. Let me take care of this dream of my life before it's too late.
Right. And I agree. I agree with that. I can see what you're saying, but to me, she needs to be leading with, she's looking for a husband and she's looking to be a wife. That's what she should be leading with first, right? Getting engaged.
She should, but I mean,
getting engaged is one thing. Yeah, exactly. But leading with the kid first, that doesn't sound good to me. Like if any lady,
it's a lot of men though out here, and I know a lot of guys, a lot of men though that really want to be fathers. You see all these guys even on the show talking about, hey, my legacy. I want a kid. I want my own thing. It's some dudes that are good partners in that aspect around that, because men are in the same boat as some of the women. I know a lot of men. I was one of them. 40s, they wanted nothing in the world more than a kid, and was scared to death every day that I was gonna miss my own window, even though I don't have the same window as a woman. But I didn't want to be a super old dad, you know what I mean, either, and I didn't want to be 50 having a kid or stuff like that. And I would be lying to you if I said I didn't think about it from time to time, and it didn't weigh on me a little bit. So it's men in the same situation as some of these women, and I'm an excellent father. And I didn't know I was going to be, but I am. And I know I am because the mother tells me, and not because I think so myself. But the fact of the matter is, it's guys in the same boat. And you know, it's okay to partner up with one at this point, because y'all both in the same boat, and if y'all both gonna be good parents, and y'all both dream to having a kid, and y'all got some kind of connection, or even if you're just gonna co-parent, or even if you think it might lead to marriage, it's okay to have the kid. I feel.
You know, like you said, it's like the religious metaphysical thing. Like JR said, you know, to each his own. Everybody's got that, but I get it, and I'm so happy for you, Ron. I'm so happy for you that you have this blessing called a child of your own. I'm so happy for you. But you are absolutely right. When I was a young girl in my 20s, early 20s, I noticed that the men that I dated and I met that were in their mid-late 30s, to me, a good guy, and I'm going to call it that, a good guy that is decent, has been brought up with values, is family oriented. By the time he gets about 35, 36, he's kind of starting to think about marriage. He's typically starting to think about, like you said, children, his legacy, what he's going to leave behind. He doesn't want to be the 50-year-old dad with the brand new baby. He doesn't want to be 60 years old with the brand new baby. Yeah, we know that men can reproduce, can give a woman a child at almost any age, but you know, who wants to do that? Who wants to be the 60-year-old chasing after a 2-year-old child?
Not at all. Not at all.
It's crazy.
I want another one. I give myself a year or two window. You know what I mean? It's all, you know what I mean? Before I even make a decision against that. But
you're trying to get married, Ron, with the second one. Are you trying to have a wife now and maybe raise all the babies together?
Yeah. Of course, I want a wife and move on to that next aspect of it. Is definitely. I don't want to have two baby mamas. That wasn't my dream. I dreamed of this to happen, but.
What the wealthy lady that we was talking about a couple of months ago, what the wealthy lady saying about that? Is she cool with that? You guys getting married and all of that kind of stuff?
We're having a few issues right now with some mental situations.
Okay, I'll move on. I want to say
we're working on it. I mean, I'm trying to be a man about it, but yeah, we have some personal stuff that's going on, and I'm just trying to be a man about it and do it. But I don't think she is at the age or something to have, you know, she definitely wants marriage. I'm not sure. You know what I mean? The kid, you know what I mean? Because, you know, women sometimes, if their kid is a little older and they're at a certain age, they might not want to push.
Again, yeah.
But I'm okay. Like I said, I'm okay with being a girl dad. I love it, and that just being my legacy. It's just a want now. But having one kid was not a want for me. It was a need, a necessity. It was it had to happen. I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? It's one of those things. And if some women, that's why my whole point was, if some women feel that way, be honest about that feeling and really focus on maybe doing something about it. Because, I mean, my kid gives me so much substance in life I didn't have before. You know what I mean? It was a super blessing, and I needed that. And if you know that you need that as a female, and it's a window that's closing on it, I don't know. I mean, I feel that you shouldn't give up on that. I feel that should be priority number one. I just really feel that way.
I agree. I don't know why Janelle jumped to, I know she's 41, but why she jumped to adoption, and maybe it plays a part because of the fact, I think she told us
she's scared because, like, you've been this time, you don't see any prospects yet. I get where she's coming from, and they're telling you better freeze your eggs, and they're putting on this pressure on a woman. That has to be enormous pressure, because even though I was feeling a countdown but not wanting to be an old dad, like I said, at least it was still able to happen. But, you know, a lot of women, and like even my sister at a certain point would have been like, yo, this ain't gonna happen. It might not happen for me. I have to mentally prepare myself that one of the biggest dreams, the biggest purposes that I had on this earth, if you really want to be a mother, might not happen. You have to now mentally prepare yourself in a whole different direction, or else you could get depressed. And she's saying, okay, well, now maybe adoption's the option, man. Maybe this is this. Maybe, you know what I mean? You have to kind of think that way, which I would say, yes, but you still got some time. Like, try to, you know, see if you can make it happen somewhere.
There's a whole lot going on with technology. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jerry. You were going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say also, when she spoke about her own journey in life, you know, she has a strong affinity to adoption because of her being adopted herself. So that's why I think she really is pushing that. More than it being an age thing. I think it's just her own experience that she's kind of wanting to, have that connection with an adopted child rather than just focusing on having her own. But each to their own. If that's what she's looking for, then she has to find a guy that aligns with that too. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that particular guy is going to be on the show. Oh, I mean, Quentin is saying the right things, but like we've already broken down, it doesn't look like it's going to work on paper. So we'll see.
I want to also get into we kind of I don't think we covered yet this thing with Phil. So somebody was telling me today, Ro, I'm not saying no names, Ro for real. I'm not saying no names, but somebody was telling me as I was leaving church and going to get my groceries, and we were chit-chatting, and she was saying that when we were talking about the interracial dating and we were talking about Kira, and she was saying, well, look, it turns out that Phil's the one that was dating interracially. And I said, well, what was he really? Because I don't know, maybe it's me and my cousins. Shout out to the cousins. But I got cousins. When I looked at the woman, I honestly thought she was ambiguous. And then I had to look at it again. And of course, I rewatch it all anyway. And I said, okay, maybe she's Caucasian. Maybe she's Latina. I'm not really sure. But to me, my look at it, I felt like, okay, she's an ambiguous woman like my cousins. They have blonde hair and blue eyes. And I'm just looking at it as a black woman. I just saw a light-skinned black woman.
Ooh.
I'm sorry. I mean, my
cousins, no. I mean, it can happen. I mean, I do have some relatives in my family who, if you put, at the family gatherings, when you see them, they're definitely light skinned. Some of them have blue or green eyes, but they have black parents. It's a genetic, it's a throwback from someone, one of our elders, and the way they are. But in this particular case with Phil, this lady is either Latina or,
I thought maybe Latina.
Yeah, she's not black. Let's put it that way. She's not melanated like.
Okay, and I get it. I didn't even have a problem. I didn't have a problem with
it. I don't have a problem with it either. But some of the ladies had a problem earlier on in the show, as we discussed. Right, we had Kira saying that Quentin looks like the type, but that's why you should never judge a book by its cover, because no one picked up on Phil.
Nobody did. Nobody said Phil. Like, I was like, okay, so he's,
right.
Hey.
But again, that's not a problem. If that's who he dated before, that's not who he's trying to date now. That doesn't mean that he's consigned to only dating outside. Maybe he has it like that. And when you hear the breakdown of their actual relationship, there wasn't any like real intimacy between them. It was like more like they were chilling out together for a period of time, and she wanted some type of relationship from it, and he just wasn't prepared to do that. So, they seem like they were more like friends who were just hanging out rather than actually dating in a serious relationship. But now he's met Aries, I think he sees more of a connection there. They're obviously more physical because he had his hand on her lap. They've kissed a few times, embraced and all of that. Plus the fact they both got kids, and Aries openly spoke about what she's looking for from her man. And Phil was like, yeah, I'm down with it. Like, if you got a kid, I got kids, like, bam, let's put this together and we can just have a blended family. So I think, you should never judge a book by its cover, because people who do that would have got Phil completely wrong. And again, there's no
to give more clarity to it. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Ron.
Well, like I said, I went to college with Phil, good friend, and in our college, let's call it what it was. If we didn't go to an HBCU, it was 2% black people in the college. So if you didn't date outside your race, as a man, you didn't date. And that doesn't mean that, so he probably has been exposed and was open to dating other races, but he's also from Detroit too, where was more black. So I just think he dates. He doesn't really have a super preference, or if maybe his preference is black girl, but he's willing to date whatever. I didn't see it as a red flag with that being his ex. I thought it was, pretty cool and brave of him to bring on the show, knowing that it might have got a little backlash, but
Right.
But I'm saying it didn't shock me knowing from where we went to school at it and stuff like that.
Right.
Did you say blacklash or backlash?
Well, then LJ, who brought somebody got some backlash when they brought the white girl on the
Frank brought now he did bring
Frank got killed. Yeah, they
she was clearly Caucasian. I didn't have to guess. One of these days we're going to talk about the fact that thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of Black people disappeared at a certain point in American history. So sometimes if I'm confused and I think people look ambiguous, sometimes it's because they are. Okay. Like she could have two Caucasian parents, just like you were talking about, JR, you and I were talking about a minute ago, our cousins who clearly have Black parents, but, have this mixed race look to them or look ambiguous. The fact of the matter is, in this country, and I'm sure across the world, there are people that have certain things in their genetic pool that they either don't know about or they either don't acknowledge. So my eyes looking at her and thinking that she's ambiguous, I would say go check out Ancestry 23 or whatever that is, because I don't believe that I'm fooled right there. She's either Latina, which means that she's got some melanin in her skin and some melanin in her genes, or there's something going on there, in my opinion. Okay.
Well,
but
yeah, she's got some
I don't have a
culture.
problem with it, though, like you said, Ron, because this whole concept of I'm only going to date Black people, and yet, my environment is not Black, it's not African American, there's nobody around for me to date in that. I don't know. I just think it's kind of it's weird to me. It's just weird, but whatever.
Right.
What was weird about that, though?
I'm saying that's what I'm saying. He went. You're talking about we all went to Michigan, University of Michigan, right? And I'm saying what I'm saying is, to me, it's the people that hang on to what to me feels like. Okay, and it's just me. Like, I know this is just my opinion. I feel very strongly about it, but it's still just my opinion, and it works for me. Is that I've never hung on to the idea, the concept that just because I'm African American that I can only date African American people. It's not something, since I was the age of 20. It's not something that I felt a necessity to hang on to. Right.
But I think it's different for men, because obviously men is kind of a thing that some women will use as a shot or a dig at some of the men, right? Because they take it more offensively when a guy dates outside as opposed to when women do it.
Nobody takes it harder than when Black women try to date outside their race. We are all kind of whores. We are all kinds of tramps. We are sleeping with the master from back in slavery time. Oh, trust me, there is a big stigma across Black women dating Caucasian men or even Latino men, Asian men, Indian men. There is a big, huge stigma, which I feel is why a lot of Black women are unable to allow themselves to do it. But I think a person that makes my own mind up for myself.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be, you're going to be yourself, right? But the fact of the matter is, there will be some sections who actually applaud and celebrate the fact that you're able to have those options. But there are also a section who will say those things that you just mentioned. But ultimately, you've got to do what, you're going to go with your own feelings, your own mind, your own heart with the person that you meet and decide whether you want to have a relationship, regardless of their ethnicity or their skin color. And, it's good to learn other cultures. And especially in that area, I assume that Texas is very close to the Mexican border. So there must be tons of different ethnicities then, not just Latinas, but, you said there's lots of Nigerians there too. There's probably loads of different ethnicities there. But you only date who you're attracted to and who's attracted to you as well. So, whatever chemistry Phil and his ex had, it wasn't enough to get into a deeper connection. He already looks very comfortable with Aries.
Yeah, he does.
Doesn't look like he's struggling at all. They've been quite open. They've had lengthy conversations. They've now doing PDAs, public displays of affection. So, he's feeling Aries clearly, in my opinion, more than he's feeling any of the other ladies on the show, including the ex. So, and the exes in the past, that they may still be cordial, may still be friends, but he's definitely got his sights firmly set on Aries.
Right. I think Ron dropped out. He may be the connection where he is in that country. So we continue on. Thank you for that. So that being said about Phil and his ex, and he and the young lady Aries, right? Is it Aries that he really hits it off with?
Yeah,
JR.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Here comes Ron back too. Hold on. So that being said, uh, the ex Phil's ex kind of basically affirmed that yeah, that she could see it for he and Aries, and that they felt like a real genuine couple, like as if she was already his girlfriend. We saw that, and then we saw over on OG Chris, we heard his ex say that yeah, I think that maybe what's her name is for him. Oh, help me out here.
Aries.
Yeah, also Aries, right, is for him,
Yeah.
which I kind of thinking I'm not so sure that Aries really has, at least as a viewer for me, it doesn't seem like Aries really has a connection with Chris, but she's willing to kind of play along with it, right? Do you see
I,
anything differently, JR?
for Lee or for Aries. I think with Aries and Chris, I think there was that emotional breakdown that he had talking about his mom, and maybe that pulled on her heartstrings a little bit. But in
Okay.
terms of a connection, I see her connection with Phil. Clearly, like I said, they're kissing, they're more affectionate, they're having conversation on the phone, very comfortable with each other. I don't think she's reached there with Chris yet. And I don't think she's going to. I think her and Phil are pretty much solid. And that's probably the most solid couple on the show at the moment, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you for that, JR. Ron, what did you feel about when we found out from Phil that there was a time when he was struggling with work? Work had slowed down, and in the presence of that, he became kind of depressed and kind of started isolating himself from his ex.
Yeah.
And maybe part of the reason why he wasn't so physical. Men actually things can affect that libido of you guys, right?
Hmm. Definitely.
Um,
And, he was working in a field which is very seasonal. He was fixing power lines or, something like that. Like it was basically storm damage or storm repair. So if there weren't any
yeah.
storms, he didn't have any work. So it wasn't like he was unemployed with no job. It's just that the job has very slow months or slow seasons.
Right.
So I think that's a different to actually having no job and not being able to find one. It's a whole different level of depression or mindset that you're going to be in. But ultimately, he's not doing that at the moment. He's moved on to a different career, something more solid, and he seems to be in a more stable place. And it's a green light for me in my opinion with him and Aries. I don't see any real obstacles unless something comes out of nowhere, like Tommy throws a curveball and something's revealed. I don't know, or maybe next week when he meets her best friend, something goes down. But for the moment, man, they look pretty solid to me. Like they're actually doing things the right way, in my opinion.
All right. Ryan, you have any thoughts?
Yeah, on that whole affection thing. I used to think I was the most highly sexually driven, most affectionate man on the earth until I got comfortable. And then I kind of realized that even at first, if it's in you, you're going to have to work on those things throughout the relationship. Work on, making sure that you have time and you're feeling, your partner's sexual desires, things of that nature, making sure that you constantly is throwing affection in and making sure you're still on that task, because you get very comfortable sometimes in some relationships, especially if the person's not really putting a lot of pressure on you, a lot of things, and they're going to be there and you got them and all this type of stuff. You get real comfortable as a man and you stop being affectionate, and sometimes the sex is more like take it or leave it with you, and you, like I said, you're stressed and you're focused on some other stuff and you're not working on that aspect of the relationship because you thought it was supposed to come automatically, and it doesn't always come automatically. Something you have to work on it, like all things that you want to be good at. And I think he kind of got into that aspect in his last relationship, and now Aries is coming. She's fresh, she's new, she's hot. Now he's, touchy feely now. There's a different energy going on. And I think that's just what the difference was. But yeah, I like them as a couple. On paper, it looks great. Can they, in a fast pace, get to know you relationship like that? They got a lot of different pieces they're going to put together. You got 3 kids, blended family, finances, all that other stuff that hasn't really been super discussed yet. That's going to have to roll smooth. And we'll see if they can get to that level. But I do like it as a couple. It looks good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, back in the gentleman's lounge with Uncle, Nephew, Cousin Tommy with that beautiful skin of his, looking very refreshed and dapper as always. Quentin says that Lee shrunk during his date with his ex and with Janelle, but he says that he still has a connection with her. Herbert says that Janelle wants to be engaged like ASAP. And that's not him. He ain't into that. He's not into getting engaged and having babies, adopting babies. He's not into any of that. Marie tells his story and tells what happened on his date and how he may have lost his two of his connections because of the tarot card reading and because of the ambush on the intimacy question that his ex asked the ladies. You guys have any comments on the men in the gentleman's lounge and what happened, the interaction? Before we press on to the elimination.
The men's lounge was kind of tame for me. I didn't see or hear anything new. I wasn't surprised at anything that they said. There was no revelations. I think, again, there were a few relationships that I had in my mind that may potentially work, and they basically got snuffed out in this episode. So, like Herbert and Janelle, like you just said, I'm not sure if that's going to work because he wants what he wants and she wants what she wants, and I'm not sure if they can meet in the middle.
Everybody wants what they want. Nobody wants
exactly. Right, yeah. Right. But that's why you have to find someone that's aligned with what you want, right? They're not doing it because they're abandoning their beliefs or what they want to do. Like you're hoping to find someone that has the same chain of thought or is at the same stage of life, right? So yeah, like there's quite a few connections that I saw personally get put out and probably not going to be resurrected as we go forward.
Good point.
Yeah. I thought I think Sierra is probably next to go. And it's just, you gotta understand as a guy on the castmates and you're in this stressful position to be on the show, you almost kind of want to be pursued a little bit too. And then all the guys kind of said the same thing, that whole laughing and making comments and things of that nature and not really giving, hey, I like you because of this is where this can go. It's a lot of fluff, and that fluff don't work well with men on this show up to a certain point. I think it just got to that certain point. She doesn't like any of the men enough to really go after them, and it just doesn't work on a show like this. I think she's great, beautiful. She's up my speed. I know what to do with that, but I don't.
About your speed? Who are you talking about? Talking about
Sierra? Yeah, Sierra. Yeah, I know what to do. I know what to do with that, but I don't see any match on here.
Go then, because I'm lost. But go ahead.
Yeah. They're doing it. Yeah. She can only go to a certain point without the guys. We feel emotion too, man. We're men. We got ego. We feel emotion too, and they're not feeling that emotion from her that she really is into these guys and liking. And you can only really fluff it up to a certain point on this show where guys are gonna now make a decision to say, and she ain't really giving me that all. Like these other girls going hard. She ain't going hard enough, or she ain't doing this and that. And we ain't about to. We're gonna cut that off. So I think she's the next to go, female. Even I think we saw that with Moriarty. You know what I mean? Where he was just saying like Tommy was like, well, is she cool? But are you choosing? He couldn't choose her because he was like, I'm not gonna choose a woman who's not giving me anything on the relationship side but fluff. You know what I mean? I can't do that. You know what I mean? I need her to give me.
She's
yeah, that she want to rock with me. She ain't that, and she more. She's more like, well, I'm dealing with some of you guys that y'all want to go hard and over impress me and do this, raise my interest. But this ain't that show. This is the Bachelorette. She needs to be on the Bachelorette, where all the guys are there are trying to raise the woman's interest enough to be their number one pick. But this is not. This is Ready to Love, not the Bachelorette. Wrong show. So
right.
Yeah,
and I think Sierra doesn't have any real strong connection. She's not attracted to anybody in that way, and I also think they're not either. You know, she's not anybody's main connection either. There's no one really pursuing her. So
they're trying to remember this in the male's lounge. You got to bring more than just the looks. So they know she's pretty. She's very pretty.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. That's only one aspect of attraction, and you can't really build off of just the physical, right? When it comes to
and they know that.
They're getting homie vibes. They're getting someone you can maybe, have a few jokes with and chill out. She's a cool person in that aspect. But in terms of relationship, she's not giving the energy that maybe an Aries.
She's not getting. And women have to understand that a man is going to put you, even if you're gorgeous and they even have want to have sex with you, is going to put you in a friend vibe if he feels he cannot have a relationship with you because you're not giving him that other aspect of it. So he's going to be like, you know what I mean? I can't see myself aligning with her because she's not giving me anything in that territory. So that's just the homie now. She's cool to be around with. She's pretty to look at. Exactly. I can go out for some drinks with her. But I'm not
I need a gal pal to hang out with. I'll give her a call, but not to date.
No.
So we slide on over to the elimination dates, and we see that OG Chris, is meeting up with Sierra of all people, and of course he's like most Nigerian men, and I hate this stereotype, but I don't know. Only the Nigerian men I've ever dated or talked to, I think I told someone the other day, they're like poets. They have a way with words. They are very well spoken. And if you're not careful, they will just melt your socks off. And that's not really what I'm saying, but I'm saying socks instead of something else. Okay. Follow my drift. So anyway, so he's sitting down with her, and he's kind of slow rolling her into the fact that the men have been talking about her in the lounge, and that, it's put him in a quite awkward position, but there's some things that the men are saying about her, and they want to get to know her in a way like what you guys just mentioned, that we want to get to know you, your vulnerable self. We want to get to know you as romantically and not just as a cool female friend, a woman friend, right? And then on the other side of town, we've got Herbert. Herbert has taken out Kira, and Kira. Yeah, Kira, once again, like I so don't understand Kira, right? Kira talks about she's a cheerleader, she's positive, but Kira, she doesn't do well with reading the room. She's a little bit delusional about how people are finding her to be. And so as soon as he says the first word out his mouth about the men and what they're saying about her, she goes, wonk, 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 wonk. They're saying the same things over and over again. And I'm thinking as a viewer, I'm like, yeah, they're saying the same thing again, because guess what? You haven't changed. You haven't adapted. You didn't take their advice the first 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Or as my girl Ro for real likes to say, the first 50, 11 times that they told you that they had an issue with you, you never gave them, the men, the respect of saying, well, maybe they got a point. Maybe I need to look at the woman in the mirror and do something a little bit differently. So Kira on this date with Herbert, I mean, she's just as brash as ever. She's not thoughtful. She's not introspective. And then finally, Herbert drops the axe and says, "Hey, girl, we gotta let you go. You're not ready to love." What were your
Mhm.
thoughts about that, Jr.?
Well, they were right. If that's what they've surmised from spending as much time as they have with her, and like you said, if she's still, I mean, the person that started the colorism and the well, not the colorism, started to bring color and things into the
Interracial dating. Yeah.
yeah, right, was first it was Tequila when she made the comment to Janelle, but other than that, it's been Kara driving all of that, and in fact leading with it in some of her conversations. So that's going to be problematic because Quentin felt disrespected by that, and there's other guys there that probably have an issue. Maurier's voiced his opinion about it as well. So she didn't adapt, and it looks like she's not going to adapt going forward. She feels like the guys were not ready to love her, but she's still going to go out there and still be the same Kira, and that's fair play to her if she wants to do that. But in this show, if you're not taking the feedback from the people that you're dating and you're given a lifeline to stay an extra a week or two, then you're shooting yourself in the foot if you continue to do what they said is a concern for them. So, yeah, I wasn't surprised to see her go home, and I wasn't even surprised by her reaction either. She was quite rude to her, but
I
you can
thought
finish
so.
your drink by yourself type thing. I'm gonna get up
Yeah.
and leave now. Nothing left to say. And that attitude speaks volumes. That's another turn off for guys when we see things like that. We're like, nah, you know what? I'm not even gonna deal with it. So yeah, right person got sent home. Um, and like there are three or four others that maybe have to reflect a little bit on some feedback as well to hopefully still stay on the show. And that goes for the men and the women.
Mm. Ron, thank you. Thank you, Jr. Ron. Ron may not be able to speak. Yeah, I think you said that very well, Jr. I absolutely thought that she was being rude. I mean, here's the person that
Can you hear
says
me?
that. Okay, yeah, we can
Can you
hear
hear
you
me?
now. Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Okay.
You.
Yeah, like I said, she was on the defense. I think she was, for one, sick of hearing the same things over because she heard it from the women. She was probably hearing it from the guys. And in her world, it's not a big deal, right?
Hmm.
And let's not get it twisted. Some of these women know when they're about to get eliminated. Some people, men or women, know when you're about to get eliminated. Like they don't make it that. It ain't that big of a secret. Casting. So she came in on the defense, probably knowing she was about to be the next one to be sent home. And in Lily on the defense, knowing that it was going to be over the same issues that she's been probably hearing about for the last 2 weeks, right, from the men and the women and whatnot. Um, I I hate to say this because I like to see good black women with black men 100%. Like that's just I'm an advocate for it. But her match might be a 41, 42-year old active white male.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh that you can do some things, I mean, that likes to be active, bubbly, I mean that in it might be a match. Um
Yeah. Yeah. Because
yeah.
Ron, I don't know if it's just me, Jr. Either one of you. I feel like as I rewatch this scene and I rewatch this whole episode, I feel like I'm even more firmly like that Kira really has a bit of an identity crisis going on. And when she talks about in her interview with Crystal XO, again, I have no problem, obviously, with her dating outside her race, that she's dated Caucasian men, but then she says she dismisses them by saying, well, yeah, but I never really wanted anything serious with them. I think that, that's something that you need to look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself the question, why am I dating people that I don't see myself being serious with? Is it like Ron was saying earlier in the show? Is it like a thing where you just need somebody to take you out to buy you that steak dinner at Ruth Chris or Morton Steakhouse? Because at this big old age of 30 plus, a woman nor a man should not be, in my opinion, going out with someone simply for the dinner, right? You have an occupation, you have a career, you're successful, you can go buy your own steak dinner. Quit leading people on. Quit, you know, quit leading people on, because I think at the end of the day, if you're a dater, that really gets problematic to always be out here taking dates, accepting dates, making dates with people that you know in your heart of heart you have no interest in for a relationship, but I'm just willing to accept the steak dinner. I'm just willing to accept this lobster dinner. That really gets tired after a while.
Yeah.
But
Well, she's back out there looking for steak dinners again now, right? So
what? Who said steak? I part of your stuff was muffled, Aubrey. But who said she was looking for a steak dinner?
Did you hear me? Did you hear me, JR?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. It must have been my internet connection, but I was like, who said she's looking for a steak dinner?
No, that's my way of saying
analogy.
It's analogy,
Okay.
right? Thank you. It's my way of saying for Kira. One, I don't know if you heard me, Ron, but what I was saying was the key thing that I was trying to say is that I believe that Kira has a racial identity crisis, right? That's one. Two, I was saying that she was on an interview with Crystal XO saying that she has went out with Caucasian men, and yet she said she had no serious interest in any of these Caucasian men that she went out with. And I'm saying, as a Black woman, I'm questioning, why are you going out with anyone, Black, white, Latino, or otherwise, that you have no interest in? At 30 plus, you should be beyond accepting dinners just because somebody else is paying for it. I mean, if you say you're successful and you're a so-called boss chick, then really boss up and buy your own dinners, because I don't think it's cool at 30 plus to be going out accepting dinners from people that you're not interested in just because you want someone else to pay. That's a form of abuse.
It is, but I think she was doing those. She was going on those dates to keep up with the Joneses. Like,
yes,
her friends, her peers are obviously dating, and rather than sit back and be single, she's going out and dating as well. And there is a difference between just dating and dating with intention. So I think they were just kind of placeholders until she's,
I don't buy that she didn't have no interest in the white. I mean, she knows what audience is on the Crystal thing. She didn't heard all the feedback online up to this point. So I don't believe she didn't have no interest in the white guys. And now, come on, now that sounds a little no, don't go there. I believe that she dates Black men too, and it's cool. And I don't believe that she has an identity crisis. I think she knows who she is. She knows what she is. Like I said, Black women come in all different.
I get
everything, and she's cool
as that. So now, if she's showing us and telling us something to be popular on the internet, on Beyonce's internet,
but this is a black show. It really is. It's one of the blackest shows on television. We black over here and on Tommy Black joke like it is. So you know what I mean? She might not be that black.
Man. And so what? What about it? Because I believe that love is where you find it.
Nah, she ain't gonna do that.
No, but you know what? Then don't come on the show and tell the man that he looks like the kind of black man that only dates white women. Don't do that then. You can't.
But all I'm saying is there's a space for that even in our black arena. There's a space for her dating with guys who understand that lingo and everything that goes with it, and it's just like that and works with that. And we have space for that. I've been in the dating game. I know there's a space over there for that. There's a space for the comic book, and there's a space for everybody black dating thing. This just happens very black stereotypical show that this is, and I've been trying to tell them for a long. But the same attributes and archetypes and stuff for this show. I wish they would switch it up and have some more different black women, you know what I mean, showing a whole forecast of what we bring to the table, because black women are not in a box in 2024. This is not how it's laying. They're not all boss girl independence. They're not all this and that. They are different. I meet them all the time, and they're into a lot of different things. And there's an arena for that in the dating market in Black America, and guys are looking for some of that stuff. So I wouldn't say she has identity crisis or she's gonna have a problem finding a man or that is not nobody there black for her. But yeah, it's there.
Show me. So I don't, like I said, now when you add in the part about she's actually blowing smoke up the viewers behind, then I feel foolish because you're probably right. She's saying,
yeah, what's she gonna do? I mean, nobody wants their black card took it away from them for making a few comments on the show. They haven't really been fair to her. And that's
now you're breaking up. What are you saying?
And I hate to be the advocate too, but because it wasn't really fair. Come on now.
Well, I don't know. Hey, look, I'm good over here. So as long as she good, you know, those
yeah.
saying,
Like I said, I hate to be the advocate, Sue, but the audience that haven't really been fair to her.
Okay. But she hasn't been fair to us either, Ron. It goes both ways. What do you think, JR? Break the time between Ron and I. What do you think? Because I mean, we're just going by what we're seeing and what she's saying. So she says she dates Caucasian men, but she doesn't like any of them. It's just, you know, I'm just going out for the good steak dinner and going to play golf. Then I gotta believe her. I mean, so what do I do, JR?
Yeah, I call cappuccino on that, right? You're not gonna date people that that you're not attracted to. That, you know, that's one of the main things we've been talking about tonight. Like, you know, if you're attracted to someone, then you're gonna date them, you're gonna give them time, you're gonna spend time, you know, spend time getting to know them and things like that, maybe some intimacy and all the rest of it. So, you know, if she's saying, yeah, you know, I dated them, but I don't particularly like them, nah, that's not true. You wouldn't give them the time of day if you don't like them. Not in 2023. You know, no one's got time for that. So I think Ron is right. There's an element of wanting to not have a black card revoked and get the heat that comes along with that. She seems like a person who's very much into public perception.
What other people think, absolutely.
Right. And you know, but her downfall was calling out Quentin on something that was completely inaccurate, right? Like she looked at his Instagram and saw the ladies on the Instagram and jumped to the conclusion that they're all the women that he's been dating when they were just his clients, right? So, and she kept bringing that up. So now she's fallen on the same sword that she tried to hit Quentin with. But, you know, like I said, she probably is used to hanging around her peers and they're dating non-melanated people and she goes along with it. But she definitely is attracted to them to some level, which is why she's doing it. It's not, you know, it doesn't make sense otherwise. And she probably does still date black guys too. You know, if she's coming on the show to find someone, then
all, girl, because the numbers are
exactly
in our favor as women. Trust and believe that. Okay.
Exactly. She may want the best of both worlds. Exactly. She may want the best of both worlds. She may feel that she aligns more with non-melanated people and the type of conversations that, you know, the cheerleading aspect and the things that she does in her spare time. But deep down, she may want a black guy to settle down with. That may actually be true. But unfortunately,
I see it all the time. It's not easy being that if all her friends are white, it's not easy being that token black girl. Just rolling along. It's a hard role to play because it's almost like, I don't know. I've seen it before, and I didn't like the dynamics I was seeing during. I was in a situation where I was dating a black woman who took me to her friends, and they were at a brunch, and all of them was Caucasian, and I didn't like the way they were treating her without treating her, if you can understand what I'm saying.
I totally get it. Yeah.
Yeah. So me as a black man, I'm ready to say something, but these are her friends and she's there and she admires these people and these are her peers. So I'm stuck. I don't know what to do.
And those were her friends, not just her colleagues, but her actual.
No, those are her friends.
That's what I'm saying.
And you gotta understand that you can't be just like them. They're different. You have to be a black person that is friends with them and still within yourself. But she was trying to blend in and try to do this, and she was okay with certain things that I was feeling uncomfortable with at that brunch. And you know, I got a bunch of white friends, and I tell them, I treat them like my black friends, no different. They're 100% the same.
Right.
And yeah,
I think when you're not a respecter of person, you treat people the same equally across the board. I think that makes a lot, for me, it makes a lot more sense. And I'm taught that in the word as a believer, that people are people and it's their heart that really matters. But I know in this world, nobody's really looking at that because we're looking on the outside and we see ethnicity, we see age, we see a lot of different things that determine for a lot of people how you treat that person, or we see social economic status. Well, I'm going to treat this person that's got more money better, but I'm going to treat this person over here that looks like they just, can barely afford shoes. I'm going to treat them worse. No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree
Right,
with that.
but the thing is, the other point that she made recently was that she felt uncomfortable being around lots of black people or in a black space. Like she felt kind of intimidated by that. And all of the guys are black, so if they got families and they have cookouts, barbecues, gatherings, things like that, she's gonna shrink in those moments because she may not feel comfortable because her main peer group is not like them. So
she won't feel comfortable. You're right, but I've been with black women that have not. But if you just take them around to black spots for a certain amount of time and get them acquainted, it's a natural process. We're all the same. We're all black people dealing with American issues in America. It comes out. Like I said, I don't know, see her with an activist or Pan-African like.
Bab says here on the chat, Bab saying that maybe what she needs is more of a Carlton type guy, and that's a good point. Maybe she needs a guy that's had the same situations as her growing up, where they were one of just one person in a sea of Caucasian or Latino or other faces, and they understand her because that's also been their situation. What about that?
Exactly. Yeah, but that guy's not on the show. That's the exact point.
And I think she needs a fun guy. I saw Red. Red was Red's personality. I met him in person. Could deal with her. I think she'd have a good time with Red. That's the personality she looks for. Red's very charismatic. If you meet him in person, different from what it's shown on the show.
It got to be in person because we ain't seen none of that on the show.
No, very, very charismatic. He's on the DJ. He's on the mic. So you won't grab the mic in front of thousands and thousands of people and talking in the mic on the crowd, stuff like that, and not be a very charismatic person. I mean, it's natural. If you try to grab a mic right now and I put you around 3,000 black people and you had to say something to hype it up, you might freeze. Red ain't freezing. Red know exactly what to say, and it sounds smooth as a mug.
Hey, so, Ryan, I would throw my deuces up and I'd be like, hey, I know how hard our people are.
Oh, Red to say something so smooth and so right at the time. So he's charismatic. He has that, and he likes to have fun. And she likes to have fun because if you're hanging around Caucasian women, you're going to be bubbly, which she is because they are, and you're going to be open-minded and fun, which she is, and they are. So some of that rubbed off on her. And some guys move like that, but she couldn't be, even with a Carlton guy. If he's a nerdy Carlton, just sit at the home, she can't roll like that. She's more bubbly, more outgoing, more. As I said, maybe a Caucasian guy even a Caucasian guy would have to be very adventurous, very, ready to roll and do stuff and keep her entertaining and all that type of things. She has to be on that level, but I think that's where she's at. But I think any guy black.
Wasn't she the youngest person on the cast this season?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
Youngest woman.
29. Youngest woman, right. Well, I mean, who's the youngest male?
Probably Quentin. They're both 33, I thought. I thought they were both 33.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, he's 30. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Well, she blew that with him, but anything else? What do you guys see for next week? What is it looking like next week? Is next week when the gentlemen have to meet the ladies, their family? What is it, family or friends?
Best friends. They have to meet the best friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, it looks like from the clips we saw, Herbert is going to get grilled. Absolutely grilled. Flambé.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting because the little portion I saw, and maybe I misread it, But did you it almost seemed like Aries, that was Aries, right? Her friend, right? It seemed like her friend was almost kind of disrespectful to Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what? Are we doing
And
another? What was the season in Miami where the girl, the real pretty girl that got with the firemen? Her friend kept disrespecting the firemen. You know, talking about he
Yeah,
looked like he
Cadian
only
and
dated
Swayze,
Cadian and
yeah.
Swayze.
his race, huh?
Cadian and Swayze.
Katie and Swayze. Like her friend was so rude to Swayze. I hated that for
Yep.
him. I really hated that for him because there was no need for her friend. And I feel like these friends or these people bring the aggression of the person they're representing. Like, so you're my friend,
But-
and then you're gonna be
but-
extra aggressive with my guy.
Right.
But they're told to get the information out. We tell the friend, yeah, go, don't hold back. We need to know some stuff. And you gotta understand, Herbert is a slow roller. We know this. It's like we identified it in blue. Let's see, but he's a slow roller. That could piss some people off, some women off sometimes.
Right.
When you just rolling with the flow and stuff, and you ain't on that straight answer, direct, da 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 da. And that's probably how that turned into that. But like I said, when his ex said it, yo, you're a slow roller. Why you entertaining this woman and wants kids and all this stuff so quick, and you know you don't roll like that. You know you a go with the flow type of man, or maybe even having the woman make the decision down the line. Whatever it is, he's slow paced like that. And if you a friend and you only got a certain amount of time to get some information out of the guy, and he's barely giving it out to you, and you trying to get some information for your friend, you're gonna get more aggressive, woman wise. I've seen it happen before. So,
right. And let's also take into account that sometimes the best friend is asked or coached to get this information by the lady herself, right? Just like
that's my whole point. Yeah, she's getting coached. We tell, as a cat, I've been in this situation with the friends. I'm telling my friend, I told my friends, oh, y'all, I need some information. Y'all got to go hard.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, but I guess it's just me. Then I would be a whole rock, just boring for this show, because I'm just saying I would never in real life want my friend to talk to my man or guy that I'm dating like you going all hard on him like that. I just don't see that. Like, why?
Exactly, because
the information from him, I need to be the one to get the information from him. Like, why?
But we're giving out representatives. We're giving representative information right now. Sometimes she want the real. You want the real. Somebody else might have to ask the question.
And you know what? And that's when I meet the family. That's when I want to meet his family, his mama, his daddy.
Yeah, they give. That's why when they do that scene where they do the family and they do the exes and they do the friends, because them are the ones that are gonna get out the real information. If you call it quitting and you get talking to him on the phone, he's gonna give you Derek Jackson.
Jackson. Derek Jackson. Oh Lord.
He gonna give you the representative. He gonna give you the representative. And that's what you're gonna get until it's time. But the friend and your friend ain't gonna always say the right stuff that you want them to say out, or your parents and stuff. They're gonna be like, I know you, so I'm gonna tell her about you. Or I'm gonna ask a question I know that you really want to be asked and you ain't doing it. So that's how you kind of get the real out. You know what I mean? But yeah, trust me, it's somebody. Moray ain't the only one politicking on these phone calls.
And let's be real. Like you said, Aubrey, like sometimes the energy that the friend gives off can leave a lasting impact on the connection that you have with the person as well. So if your friend goes too hard on them, you know, and you know, it comes out that you coached them or you prompted them to ask those questions that put them on the spot, then you're gonna be like, you know what, your friend, she's a bit hostile. Maybe you are like that too. Birds of a feather flock together. Yeah, I'm out. You know, so it can go wrong as well.
And plus, we've seen some memorable friends who, and let's not take the TV aspect of it. You know what I mean? These people weren't picked to be on the show, but they do get a quick 5 seconds of fame and stuff to come over and do their little thing. And we've had some friends that really stood out and really had a nice little following for being a friend or ex-boyfriend. You know, Liz's ex-man got a big hooray and stuff for going hard on David, which I didn't think was fair. You know, so some of them are saying, okay, if I pay a little tougher, get a little more exposure. Let's not act like people don't want stuff.
Okay. I was just thinking about something JR said. JR, you just said it a second ago. I was thinking that the ramifications or the lasting effects, we saw that kind of with Swayze and Katie, and that they almost broke up completely. Remember that?
Exactly.
Right after, yeah.
Yeah, and rightly so. If I would have understood if he had walked away.
I would
and said,
understood too.
yeah, I'm not dealing with all of that, man. That's too much heat, hostility coming my way, and all I'm trying to do is get to know you. So,
And she didn't take his back. She took her friends back kind of during that conversation. I didn't like that. Like they worked it out and they're a good couple, right? You know what I mean? But he had to check her on that. And he did.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
And the thing is, prior to Swayze entering that date, Cadian did say to the friend, I want you to grill him. I want you to go hard on him. You know, he told her to do that. So she just followed the mandate.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but yeah, like, let's wait and see what happens, because I'm sure that it's not just going to be Herbert getting the sharp treatment. There may be some others. It looked like Chris was going to have a hard time as well. Chris looked like he was sweating buckets.
Yeah, Chris ought to need to be sweating buckets when a woman got to make him her whole job. I'm kind of with married 10 years. I'm beginning to see her point. OG Chris is coming across as a man who needs a mother, not a woman. He needs a mother, and I'm sorry, I know his mother's no longer with us, but that's too much work for most normal women to be everything to your man, including his mother. That's too much.
Where does this mother comic come from? I've been hearing this lately, and I'm like, dude, it's so. To me, I don't call it. I say, okay, I'm gonna be the bad guy again. Okay, forget it. It's lazy. That ain't mother.
Well, the one. I mean, let's go.
Y'all don't want to do nothing no more. Where to work?
Wait a minute. Wait, Ron. You saw the date just like I did. His ex-girlfriend said that she had to make him her total priority. It's like,
and if he would have put a ring on it, she was willing to do it. His problem was he didn't marry her, and she was making her do all that stuff, which wasn't fair. No, make her do all that stuff, and you ain't gonna put a ring on her. That's trauma to women.
Exactly, I agree with you. But the thing of it too, making her do it. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, here's the thing: I'm not doing it. I'm not your wife. I'm not doing it. That's okay. First and foremost. Set your boundaries. Right. Why are we doing all this stuff? That's like me. I don't believe in shacking. I don't believe in that. So we ain't gonna shack. I ain't gonna wash your drawers, because your drawers is your drawers. You wash your own drawers. Now, when we get married, that's different. But I'm not playing the part of the wife without the benefits.
But you got to give him a little preview too, though.
All right. You know what? Bye, Ron.
Hey, and that's true.
Because I'm not gonna believe you. I'm not gonna believe that you could switch over that quick. All right. I'm like, yo, I gotta see that you could be able to handle the schedule and be able to do this and that.
That's the game that you guys play. That's the smoke that you blow up women's butts all the time. And I'm just saying that all of us women aren't.
It has to be some trust.
No,
has to be some trust.
Are you? Wait a minute. Let me ask you something. Okay, so while I'm showing you that I'm qualified to be the wife to get the ring, right? Am I now on your medical insurance? Do I have dental benefits? Let's talk about this thing.
No, but are you paying for anything while we're going out or entertainment and things of that nature? Are you, you know what I mean? If something happened in your car, are you getting your nails done and things of that? Am I taking care of stuff?
Are paying for dates, are paying for nails done, and all of these things, Ron. I mean, they
are, but they don't want to.
You are the good.
You act like they do it with a. Oh wait, I mean the men should be. They should. They should be doing that, Aubrey. They should be doing that. They should.
Where's your counterpart like you, Ron? That's about maybe 20 years older. Okay.
They should be doing it. They should be doing it. They should be doing it. If they're asking all that for you, they should be at least doing that. They're wrong. You're in the right. Those men are in the wrong. They shouldn't be asking for the wife treatment ahead of time if they're not showing that they can provide or court a little bit. And, doing their part. They got some husband material too coming at them. But yeah, they need to be showing that. But a lot of guys are showing that and not getting any benefits out of it. So, it works both ways.
Exactly.
Wow. What are your thoughts on this, JR? Break the tie between Ron and I, because I don't know about
No, I agree. Listen, at the end of the day, I feel like Chris's issue may have something to do with the fact that he's lost his mother, but I don't think he's looking for a mother in the girl that he's dating. No, I think in his cultural aspect, he's looking for a lady to be by his side, but he's leading. Like he's the leader, right? He's the one that's gonna go out to work and make the bread, and she's gonna, be the homemaker or whatever else he's talking about. If she does have a career, then he's not gonna entertain for a slight second of her overshadowing what he's doing. So,
Not at all.
Okay,
So-
I see what
so
I
if-
see what you're saying.
He's a superhero. If you want the man to be a leader, you got to get on board with that. He wants
Right.
the S word that a lot of women are afraid of, that real submission. And them Nigerian women are with it. So if you're going to be a non-African woman, you're going to have to play that game.
Community.
And that girl looked tired. She looked tired. It's going to be tiring. You're going to be working. But you got to you got to weigh your pros and cons. How well do I like this man? How well do I admire his work ethic? How well do I admire his leadership? Does it feel nice not to have to worry about a mortgage and the bills and some of this stuff?
There should be a balance. I guess I'm too much of an American woman, because to me there should be a balance. And here's what I got to say about what I'm trying to also say about Chris. So I'm going to take the mothering word out of it. Maybe that's not the correct and proper and best.
It ain't, because I've been hearing it too much.
Okay. But this is a thing. This is a thing with some people. And it comes from sometimes when and I'm only basing this on what we've seen and what we've heard about Chris and from Chris, right? Okay. There is a thing where there are people in your life, romantically speaking, because of whatever trauma they dealt with as a child coming up, loss of parents at an early age, had a parent in their life, parent was addicted, they didn't get the love that they needed. They become so needy as adults, and I don't care how successful they are in their career, the company they own, they're millionaires, they're billionaires, they're Jay-Z, whatever. If I have to be everything to my partner, everything, that is too much work. I've got to be your lover. I've got to be your nanny. I've got to be your housekeeper. I've got to be emotionally. I've got to be everything for you. That's what I was hearing when that young lady was talking about how tiring it was to be his lover. That's too much.
Yeah, of course, it is too much. But that's why the person's not for you, because the right person for you is not going to make you do that much. You're not going to feel compelled to do that much.
I don't think it's a lot if you're not working. If you're not working, I don't think it's a lot.
No, wait. The other part of that was when remember now when she asked was it Jessica asked his ex, she said, and so how supportive was he of your goals? How supportive was he of you? And she said, not at all, non-existent. No, that's not gonna work. So like I said,
his purpose is not you. He's on his purpose. His purpose is his own greatness. And that's what Chris, if you watch his Instagram, that's what he's on. His purpose is not you.
I saw some of his Instagram. I got a whole.
Yeah, his purpose is not you. He's making that clear. But that's okay. His purpose ain't supposed to be you as a man sometimes. His purpose is supposed to be to go out there and conquer the world in that. Now, he can't be like this and have you working every day 5 to 6. But if he says, hey, I want a woman that's going to be my backbone, supportive, this and that, and she just doesn't work, I think it's fair. Because some women don't want to get up at that 6 a.m. meeting with me and go into corporate America and have the pressures and deal with all that stuff that's doing with that. They don't want to they're not built for that. Not all women are built to work like a freaking dog. You know what I mean? They're not even built that way. So if he's going to do that and just say, hey, I just need you to back me up, support me, but I need you to go hard. I need you to, ain't no laziness here. I want the 3 meals a day. I want the support. I want the housekeeper plus my secretary plus this and that. This is what you're going to have to do. Some women say, hey, I'm not built for corporate America. What else am I going to do? I'm going to do that.
Yeah, and a lot of the women who do have corporate jobs, as much as they want to be bosses, they, a lot of them don't like the grind every day. A lot of them
They hate it. They hate it.
So, you're going to need a guy like Chris. If you hate corporate America and, you've reached your accolades, you've got the education, you've got the job and all the rest of it, you've been there, got the t-shirt, ultimately, you're going to get tired at some point. And a guy like Chris is the guy that's going to take you out of that situation. But the other side of it is now you're going to be investing that time into him while he goes out there and makes the bread and brings it home so that everyone can have dinner. Right. So that's unfortunately the way it goes. And the only other alternative is to find a partner that is more aligned with what you believe. You know, if
There
you,
you go.
And to do that, you're gonna have to pay 50% of the mortgage. Are you okay with that?
No,
yeah,
no, no.
you're making.
You want to pay 50 of it?
You're missing the point, because here's the thing, Ron. You seen the film, you seen the movie, you seen the play called Fences. Do you know the scene where the son says, you know, Dad, he turns to his father, which in one case, in the earlier version, it's James Earl Jones, and you know, manly alpha male. It's also Denzel. Is it Denzel Washington, I believe, with Viola Davis in the more recent version. But anyway, the son turns to the father and he says, Dad, you never in all these years that you raised me, I'm a grown man now, but you've never said the words I love you. And then the dad turns to the son and says, but hey, I kept a roof over your head, I fed you, you had 3 square meals, blase, blah blah blah. That's what I'm talking about. That to me is, for me, like JR is saying, I got to find somebody aligned with my values and my feelings and the way I look at things. That to me is antiquated.
That's your emotional part, but you're gonna have to be responsible for that. Chris is saying, if you go on his Instagram, all he is saying, this dude is throwing ninja stars at the damn wall. He is saying, I'm a provider, protector. I do both of those very well. Everything else, you're gonna have to, like, my ideal male, super provider, super protector, not regular provider, regular protector. I'm super on those things. So I'm not gonna be able to do all those other things. It's impossible. You have to be responsible for your own emotional stability. You got to be all that stuff. You have to bring all that stuff to your own table. But I'm going to provide to the top notch.
And I know you ain't looking at me like that, and I ain't looking at you like that, but it's a no. It's a no.
And it ain't for everybody. It really not. It's really not.
We're a billionaire and we're living like, whatever.
But what these women got to understand is, if that's a no for you and it's a hard no, and you want to work and you want to do your thing, y'all really need to start partnering up with some of these guys. And it's okay to pay half the bills and just say that's what you want to do, and that you ain't all about washing no drawers or making no meals or doing all this type of stuff. And I ain't about to be your secretary. We gonna split this stuff down the line, and we're gonna build together that way, and we're gonna combine our assets, and we're gonna retire. We're gonna do that.
But it's the idea that I'm married to a man, and that he thinks the only thing in life that makes my boat float is that he's a super provider. That we live in a 5-6 bedroom house with 8 bathrooms and 3-car garage. It's a no for me.
But do you know what he goes through every day to provide that? It's what you gotta take into consideration and respect that.
Exactly. The same grind that you may be tired of doing yourself, he's going out there to do, and he has no choice because he's a man. Whereas you don't have to necessarily go out there and work in corporate. You have the option to kick back and be the wife and play the back, right? But the problem is, and like Ron said, if you are making your own money, you have your own business, you're a CEO, great, wonderful, excellent. If you want to stay out there working, great, wonderful, excellent. Well, when you both come home, you're going to have to split the chores. You're going to have to split the bills. You're going to have to split the money. Your money's not going to be all your own. And this guy is spending all his cheese on you. Like, that's not how it's going to work. Like, you're going to
a lot of women think that's the way it should go, honestly. Because if you ask one of those independent women, oh, I'm making my money, they'll brag about their money and their accolades and stuff like that. But when you talk about who's paying the mortgage, I'm going to be like, I want the man to pay 100% of the mortgage. I want the man to pay majority of the bills.
I want to go back. I got a question for JR. JR, do you realize you look at statistics sometimes? Are you a numbers guy? Because I'm a numbers girl.
Sometimes. What are the numbers you want to know about?
So what the question? What I'm posing to you is this: when you say that women kind of do have a choice in whether or not they're going to be, Miss Boss Chick, Miss Corporate, what have you, right? Have you seen the statistics for marriage amongst Black women? Have you seen the statistics?
Are we talking globally or just in America?
We can talk America, and we can even talk UK. The other places, not to be funny, guys, my friends in Canada and Caribbean and all that, but we can talk America and we can talk UK.
I haven't seen any recent stats, no, but I guarantee you there is more marriages here in the UK than there are in the States. And you guys have a larger population by a long way. You have like 330 million people plus. We have about 77, 80 million people, somewhere around there.
Right. Okay.
But the marriage statistics are definitely higher here and successful marriages too, even though there
I
are a lot of
believe
divorce.
it. I believe it. Okay, so now, but with that, okay, so then we'll just talk America. So you've seen some of the statistics on marriages in America amongst Black women. They are the smallest percentage of any follow group: Caucasian women, Latino women, Asian women, to get married.
Of course,
So
is that a surprise to you?
when you so when you say that, my first reaction is actually no, it's not an option for a lot of Black women to not be this superwoman, to not be this boss chick, to not be this corporate woman or this entrepreneurial woman. It's really not an option because they're not. Black women and in mass are not getting married at that rate that they have that option.
Right, but this is the thing, right? It's down to the men that you're dating to feel like you are special enough above all the other ladies they know to want to put a ring on it. So that's why marriage isn't happening. Guys are not proposing to the women in their lives because they don't see them as wife material in a lot of cases. And let's be real, the divorce rate is high as well. So once you do get married, there comes a period of time where you start to then feel like you don't want to be in it no more and you want to quit. That's also at a high level. So, I think there is no one size fits all. There is no magic formula that's going to sort those statistics out, but that's the way it is.
You can start by being fair. Like I said, it ain't no such thing as I'm a boss chick and I'm gonna be independent and I'm not gonna pay. I don't want to pay for some stuff in the relationship. God should be taking care of me with that mindset. Or it's not fair, like I said, to be a submissive woman that's at the house and do that and still have to have a job and all those type of things. Yeah, just be fair about it. Like I said, my girl I'm dating, we're having problems right now. It doesn't nothing to do about this issue, but she makes a lot of money, way more money than me. And I've paid for every single thing for the last 9 months that we've done. I have no problem doing that. I'm a man. I'm programmed to do it. But yeah, it's not. I do think about it in my head saying, yo, if I did this for the woman that works at Denny's, I get a lot more gratification and a lot more, I'll be paying the exact same thing. Like, it's like, you got to be self-aware as a woman to say, okay, I'm making good money. I don't want to do some of these other submissive things, and I'm not with that. I'm not with 3 meals and all this other stuff. I got to put my money where my mouth is. And I'm going to have to use some of this money. I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to pay for half the dates, and I'm going to pay for this, and I'm going to have to put money in this and let him know my financial plan is okay with paying this certain amount of bills to take a load off your shoulder too, because we're equal partners and we're in this together. We're going to have to kind of bend these gender roles and kind of move a little different. But you have to be okay with that. The dream of maybe being damsel in distress and taken care of might have to go out the window if that's the woman that you are personally. Now, if you're a naturally submissive person, that's just all you want to be and things of that nature, then yes, go look for a protective provider and do the other stuff if you're really good at it.
Go look for a Chris.
Yeah, but be truthful about yourself and stop playing both sides of the field, because that's what's getting you the no ring, because men ain't not going for it.
Nope, not at all.
Wow, we're getting quite a reaction from the chat. You guys are clearing up some things, and you're adding you're filling in the texture, the nuances of this whole modern dating, men, women. And I want to say right here and now, like, I don't feel like it's a competition between men and women. I really agree with JR when he says that marriages, happy marriages, successful marriages, marriages that don't end in divorce, and children that are raised with both the parents in the home, I feel like that's the goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's somebody, hold on, I feel like there's somebody, for Chris, there's somebody for Marie, you know what I'm saying? There's somebody for Kira. There's somebody for all of us. And really accessing that. And like you said, Ron, you said a key thing though too, honesty. When we become honest and vulnerable with one another, once we've reached that level of comfortability to become honest and open with one another, right? Then maybe we can see where we really truly align at, and we can form this union that is great, that is successful, that is powerful, that is dynamic, right? And we can
Yeah, but
compromise. We can compromise on
we
things.
can't. But Aubrey, that's not a lie though. There is competition. And there's competition for power in the relationship. Everybody wants to be the person that feels more secure within that part of the relationship. So for money is a power tool. There's competition for that within a relationship. If both of y'all are working to climb up the ladder, there is a underground competition. And I when I talk to my women that are independent and make good money and stuff like that, I speak about the elephant in the room. I let it out. I say, I understand that there's a competition aspect going around here. Rather if it's who makes the most money, who's getting the most attention, who's going, we are both alphas. There's going to be a competition thing. All I ask is don't compete against me. Let's take both of this competition spirit, competitive spirit that we have, and let's compete against a real animal, and that's the world. Let's us two go together against the world and compete against them and not against each other if we want to compete so bad. Let's go compete against the world and get it together.
Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't go like that though. Once that competitive spirit is there, you're gonna get challenged and competed against, and it's gonna come with that whole package. And it's okay to, like I said before, like it's okay to want to go out there and conquer the world and own your business and have assets and investments and all the rest of it. Nothing wrong with that, but you need to find a guy that's going to sit back and support you while you do that, because the home stuff needs to be taken care of. And if you're out working, doing your boss babe stuff, then you have to allow the guy to still feel like he's masculine while filling the roles that need to be done, that can't be done because you ain't there, and vice versa. Like, if a guy's out there running companies, businesses, self-employed, whatever the case may be, he's going to need a support system. And if he comes home and you're trying to outboss him and out CEO him, you're not a support system. You can't be both.
Right.
And the biggest thing is, can you give a guy who is playing that first role that Jay was talking about, the gratitude with it? Can you pay for half the bill on a dinner and tell a man, I really enjoyed your company. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for being my protector tonight, and everything that you brought with me. And I just had a great time, and give him a kiss and treat him like a man and rub his. Could you do that knowing that y'all split the bill in half? Because it's a real question.
Yeah, I could.
And that.
Let me say this. Back in the day, when I was still in mini skirts and whatnot, one of my favorite moves was to go up to a bar, in a club situation, right? Go up to the bar or go up to a gentleman and have a conversation with them and order a drink for him. And I have to tell you, the reaction that I got, I still remember to this day, the reaction that you get from men. And I'm looking at the man, I'm seeing what he's wearing. I'm a very good judge of people's social economic, because I've had to be, right, where they are in life in terms of what they make, what they do. I can almost look at a person and tell you what they do for a living after 5 minutes. But these are guys that were able and more than capable of paying for their drink, my drink, and half the bar's drinks, right? But the fact that I was willing to buy them a drink, that meant so much to them. So I see where you're coming from. I want to ask, before we close this out, I want to ask a question of both you gentlemen, because the women in the audience in the chat, they really want to know, since we're being very honest and vulnerable and open in this moment, is talking about the genders. The women really want to know, what kind of woman are you guys looking for? If we can start with JR, if JR, if that's something you're willing to answer, I don't want to take anybody out of their comfortability level, but if you were looking for a woman, maybe you have a woman in your life, I don't know, but what kind of things were important for you in a woman that you would align with, that you feel like are very essential for a woman to have?
Well, yeah. Well, for me, it's very simple. Like, I'm looking for harmony first of all. I'm looking for chemistry. I do not want to come home and war and battle and argue and cuss each other out. I hate all of that stuff. So any type of relationship that consists of that, I'm automatically gonna try and get away from that If I can't change it, I'm going to stay. I'm going to try and work it out. I'm going to try and change it. But ultimately, that's not the recipe for success. It doesn't belong in any type of relationship that I'm looking for. So yeah, like the harmony, the synergy, the love, the affection, that has to be paramount. I need to know, without even asking, I need to know that you're feeling me, because I'm definitely going to be feeling you. We don't have to be compatible on everything. I can accept you for who you are. Doesn't matter about your background, how you were raised, none of that stuff. If it doesn't, if you're not having lingering, carrying over emotions about it, that's going to affect our relationship, i.e. you're healed from it. You can comfortably discuss these things, and it's not going to lead to outbursts and things. Or, I'm going to be treated as if I'm the person that did it to you, and it's a lingering thing from your past. Like, I don't do well in those situations. And like I said, I'm also quite reactive. Like, I realized, especially in my most recent relationship, I realized that I'm very reactive to negativity, and when things go things go to a confrontational space, I get petty, and I don't like it. I really don't like it, because it's not me. It's not who I was before.
What? I'm sorry, my voice is I was imagine in 1,000 years you come across as so logical and so reasonable. You get
that's
petty?
Because I am. That's because I am, and that's how I'd like to be, and that's how I've always been. But I must admit, like,
get involved, you can actually be petty.
Now if I get drawn out, now if I feel like I'm being attacked, or someone's trying to draw me out all the time, then yes, like I will. There comes a point where I'm just like, you know what, you need to get some of what you're dishing out, because if you don't like it, why do you continually dish out to me? So I definitely do that, and like I said, it's a flaw that, and it's something I've definitely taken stock that I do, and I don't like it, but the best thing to do is not to have that energy around me. You know what I'm saying? I can't come home to that. So it's pretty simple: harmony, synergy, love, happiness. Those are the crucial factors.
Should the woman be affectionate?
Of course. Otherwise, what's the point in being a woman? If you can't be affectionate with me, or be intimate with me, or anything like that, then we can just be friends, and we can just keep it cordial. But we can't be together. No, not in a relationship.
Do you like public displays of affection with this woman?
Of course. Of course.
All right. Okay. Anything else you want to add to that?
No, I gave you a whole shopping list. I revealed too much.
All right. Ryan, thank you, JR, for that. I appreciate your honesty and your transparency. Ryan?
Thank you.
I love affection. My only love language is touch, physical touch. I didn't really care much about the other ones.
Yes.
I need a woman that's emotionally stable within her emotions. I'm a very logical male man, and some of these women are driving their own other women crazy with the extra emotion and stuff. Imagine what that does to a logical man. Breaks him like right away.
Exactly.
So she needs to be able to control some of that stuff at some point. I know women are emotional. I want her to be able to share stuff and be emotion in this, but be as direct as she can, and try to communicate in a different way with me, because if she tries to come out not direct, it comes off to me as manipulation, or I'm like, just tell me what you want, or do that. It doesn't come off right. So, and sometimes emotion to drive a woman's thinking to do some stuff that's just men find weird or off the wall. We don't understand it. So I want her to understand what she's dealing with, and if she's dealing with a man, very logical man, help me help you in that aspect. Respect is real big with me. I think all males, even if he's paying half the rent or whatever like that he deserves respect. I'm a hybrid at this point. I was raised traditional, from a traditional dad who paid every bill in the house, this and that. It worked out for him. It didn't work out for him. So I know what that looks like. He was raised by a granddad, General Motors, big top, guy down there way back in the day and stuff, who paid every bill in the house. And so I've seen what that dynamic looks like. I'm also understanding that I can't put all my eggs in one basket and say I'm a traditional man looking for a traditional woman. I'm going to pay the bills. I have to be a hybrid because it's just too competitive out here to be putting yourself in one basket. So I now have had to align myself with dating independent women who have their jobs and things of that nature. And so I say, hey, I could pay all the bills or I could split it. But either way, I'm going to expect the same level of respect because I think the part of men that gets overlooked the most is the value of our protection. And women don't understand that because we've been kind of coddled in the United States for a while and stuff. But trust me, no women in Ukraine understand it right now because they get to go shit over down to Poland and stuff while their men are getting bombed. And ain't nobody stayed around to say, hey, let me go be with my man and take these bullets. Men, it's life or death with us when it comes to protecting. Y'all don't see it because we don't use it all the time. But when it ever comes down to it, and you're out with a man and something goes down, even if he only knew you for an hour, he is, in America, he is responsible for your safety and protection. I was at the Essence Festival. And I was literally just walking down the street and I bumped into some girls by accident. And now they're like, oh, you got to walk with us now. And that's fine. The other girl leaves the other girl and says, I got to meet up with another dude and stuff, and leaves her there. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah, left her with me, like drunk. I don't even know this person.
Wow.
And the other girl's acting crazy and belligerent. So I checked her. And she's like, oh, well, don't you want to check me? You can leave. I said, I can't now. I said, because you're drunk. I'm the last person that you've been seen with. If you go, something happens to you, your friend's going to be looking for me. And then I might get pulled into police custody. I have to tell my story, and I got to go to work tomorrow. I don't have time for that. And this and that. The world, America, is going to expect me now to protect you and make sure you go home safely, and you have no appreciation for that right now. And I'm on the hook now because your girl left you with me. I'm the last person seen with you. There's cameras all over this bar with me with you, and I have to now protect you because you're not in the right mind right now to even protect yourself, and you couldn't in a New Orleans streets protect yourself against any man right now. So you get that, you overlook that we're on the hook for that at all times. So that's what I'm saying. If I don't care if the man's paying half the bills or paying all of it, he still deserves respect as a man because at any point in time, he might have to lay his life down for you.
Wow. Wow.
And that's why the respect aspect is important, because if you don't respect the guy, but you want him to put his life down on the line for you, protect you and provide you and all the rest of it, you know, you got to have that respect and love and trust built up before you can have that expectation. Because guys ain't just going to roll up and do that automatically. Ron is a stand-up guy, but there are tons of guys.
I tell women all the time, Ron, I trust my life with. Ron, he knows that. I trust my life with him. It's a whole lot of people that say a whole lot of things that I don't agree with, but Ron, I would trust my life with. Okay? I bet you that on my bottom dollar, and I do respect Ron. A last question, guys. The ladies want to know, how important is good communication in a relationship?
It's one of the most important things. It's how you resolve conflicts. It's how you express your desires, your wants, your needs. It's also how you, you convey your thoughts and feelings about a whole range of different things that can impact your relationship. If you use the wrong tone, the wrong verbiage, you want to fight all the time, and it's not going to result in the communication getting you to where you want it to be, and you're not going to get the things out of the relationship that you're looking for. So communication is very key, and speak to the person in a way that you would want to be spoken to as well.
Yeah, we heard that a lot with Chris, OG Chris this season too, right?
The communication has to be the same styles, though. I don't think it's really, we keep hearing, oh, you're a bad communicator. I hate that. I don't think it's no bad communicators. I just think you got to align yourself with somebody, if that's your partner, who you communicate with in the same way. I've seen couples that never talk to each other, but they, by look or by gestures and everything like that, they're moving. They're moving smoothly, you know what I mean? They know what it is. It works, you know what I mean? So it's just who communicates with your style. But to say somebody, oh, you're a bad communicator. No, he's a bad communicator with you because maybe he's direct and you're not. Maybe you're direct and that person is more figure it out. You don't know me by now. You haven't figured it out. You have to maybe dig a little more with that. With some women enjoy doing that, or some men enjoy doing it. It has to match. So I hate the fact that we're saying these people are bad communicators, because they're communicating everywhere else. They're communicating with their kids. They're communicating their job. They're communicating with their friends. Like, it ain't no bad communicators. It just doesn't match your communication style.
And they just don't want to communicate with you in a respectful way. They communicate.
Yeah, they don't want to adapt to it and stuff, because it's a lot of, you have to make those changes.
Exactly.
It's uncomfortable too, though. It is uncomfortable to make a communicational change with a spouse. I'm dealing with it right now. I have to do it, and I'm dealing with it right now as we speak, and it's very uncomfortable.
Are you in your boss mode in your private personal relationship? Are you being too CEO-ish?
No, not at all. I'm dealing with a situation where the communication that's coming at me is coming off as manipulative, and that's a trigger for me, because people in my life has been that way. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to adjust to the communication style, and the person gets communicate with me. I was like, well, it's hard for me to communicate with you, because everything that you're throwing at me is coming off like this, and you're doing it subconsciously, so you're not even recognizing it. So we can't even fix the problem, because you don't even know that you're doing it. And now I'm trying to adjust my communication style to kind of adapt to what's going on in a situation that's very hard to do.
It is difficult. I can imagine.
Well, I guess one thing we can maybe all agree on, I think that relationships, they can be work. They can require work sometimes, right? They can require a certain determination or stick-to-itness that we need to have, that we resolve that I'm going to be with this person, and I'm going to do everything within my power to stick it out with this person. And that person, has made that choice with you as well, hopefully, right? That's really powerful. I mean, the communication style, Ron, when you were talking about communication styles, one of the things you said about people that don't even say without saying a word, it's a gesture, it's a look. I was thinking about how powerful dancing is between couples, that when you see these couples out doing the, what do we call it here in Detroit? The stepping, right? That these people, the men touch the woman on the small of their back, and the woman knows to go this way or that way. They practice. They look a certain way. They look at each other, and they're communicating without saying a word. So
I'm in a country right now. I don't speak a word of the language at all, and I've been communicating just fine. It's the way it's communicating.
What are you doing? You showing them that $1 million megawatt smile of yours, and the ladies are like, yes, sí, señor.
It's not even a ladies thing. It's just how you carry yourself, your gestures. Music is powerful. It's a way to communicate through music. It's a way to communicate through gestures. It's a way to communicate through body language. That's usually 80% of the language they say of communicating is through your actions and how you carry yourself in your body. So it's ways to make connections and not always with communicative with words. Words is for information. If you got all the information you need and stuff, you really don't need to be speaking as much as we be talking.
All right, be careful out here in these Colombian streets, Ron. Now, if you're gonna make me a great auntie again, I wanna know that I want to come to the wedding first, and then you make me a great auntie. All right?
Nah, we're doing well over here. They know none of that. But I'm just saying that to your point, I do salsa dance, that, yeah.
Oh, that's right. No, Ron, I'm sorry. I absolutely forgot about the salsa dance from your season. You are right. I love that. That was one of my favorite parts of that season, was the salsa dancing.
Yeah,
hey,
salsa, you have to be able to communicate.
Whereabouts in Colombia are you? Cali?
I'm on my third city now. So I was in Cali, then I was in Cartagena, and now I'm in Medellin.
Okay. Yeah, Cali's the capital for that.
Yeah, Cali was fun. I met some cool people there. Cartagena now is like, I thought I was in Harlem. Women, if you're looking for your where all the black men at and stuff, I hate to tell y'all, a lot of them in Cartagena, Colombia.
Really?
I mean,
are they born there? Are they American?
No, it's just my whole plane ride over there was probably 80% black men from America. And they're over there and they're spending money and they are, that's where they want to be at. And they're not there because they're really treating it like America. Like they're literally like, I went to a bar there and they were talking to me like I was in like American Club. Like there's a table minimum of students and this and that. And I'm like, what are you talking? Y'all even speak the language. Where's this Americanized stuff coming from? They are coming over here left and right.
Well, that's a whole nother show. We're gonna get ready.
It's real. It's real now. I saw it in Thailand when I was down there, and a lot of it was ex-military down there that just never came back. But here, I was so shocked. I felt comfortable. I felt literally like I was in America again. I'd be on the street, just walking, see a black person, give them the head nod. Everybody give me the head nod, like back in Detroit. What up?
Right. Well, you know what? That's like I said. That's a whole nother show. I don't know if JR is available to come on or wants to talk about it. I know you for sure. I know my brother, Trying Savage. I know he's gonna come on and talk about it. But we got to do a show about Ellen V says Passport Bros. Passport Bros. So that's a whole other show because it sounds like you got some insight and info.
It ain't. But here's the thing, though. Like I know the category of Passport Bros and stuff and that, but these guys were different. These guys were the men that had the guys I seen in the airport, in the airplane, and in the club have no problem getting women back home. And they say every guy I saw 6'4", 6'5", look way good enough to be on Ready to Love show or any show they wanted to be on, muscled up and things of that nature with money. Right. They're just here because they want to be. It's not because they have to be. It was a different element.
Something to talk about for the Passport Bro show because I won't claim to know a whole lot about it. You were the one that brought it to my attention in that Facebook group that we belong to. Like, one of the somebody did a post on there and the post went viral. It blew up. And then you came on. I think I'm trying to remember, Ron, whose show was it? Whose YouTube channel did you come on and talk about the Passport Bros with? I can't recall. Do you recall?
I don't remember that one.
Okay, because I thought
I know the group very well. Like I said, because it's basically a travel group, so I've been in it. The Passport Bros committee, for a long time. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you know what? Maybe in my mind, maybe I was always doing a actual topic about Passport Bros because I could have swore you were on somebody's panel.
Yeah. I probably might have talked about it, but I mean, it's exceeding from there to now. It's a whole different ball club now. Like everybody, I know it's not that hard to get a passport. It's kind of like one of those things. Like when American Express Platinum card first came out, like you was like big time and separated now. Then everybody got one. It's not a big deal. Like, that's kind of like how a passport is right now in the situation. Right. And these dudes are.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they're taking, like I said, them New York boys and them Miami men, they're taking 1-2 day trips down here, coming right back, you know what I mean, and doing their thing, coming right back. And it's crazy what's going on right now. But literally, I've been traveling for the last 15 years. And I've never seen that many black men in one spots together. It was like crazy.
Right.
And they were.
You said something earlier on, and then again, like I said, it was another podcast. But you said, and it made me stop and think about it because my neighbors were this example. Like my neighbor was ex-military, married to a woman from the Philippines, from Vietnam. You talked about the first Passport Bros being, men in the military.
Yeah, I tell women all the time, if you were looking for. You're saying there's a shortage between men, and I hear this all the time, 40 and 50, 55. Where's all those men at coming to make black women, American women their wives? They must all be in jail. They're not in jail. Those, no. They retired from the military at 40 with them good old benefits and that good pension and stuff like that and never came back.
Oh, okay. Okay, left the country.
Yeah, they were already out the country. They're well traveled. They've been traveling their whole military career. They say, yo, when I get done, I'm gonna set up shop here. I can live cheaper. I like the women better. They're more submissive and attentive to what I'm looking for. And I don't need to go back to America now. And imagine if all those men came back to America around 41, 42, took up another job on top of getting that pension money, on top of getting all that benefits, because they're already retired from the military coming in, and they're double dipping on top of that. Those are providers and protectors. You're a military trained protection, and you're now a super provider with 2 incomes coming in for yourself.
Right.
Those are some husbands right there.
We got some men like that at my church. Like one guy, he's retired, and it's unbelievable the amount of money he makes as a retired person. But like you said, he's ex-military and he double dipped, because I didn't know this. I found this out when my daughter was in the Navy, that if you are military and then you take on a government job, that's the dual pension, and you get the double dipping and all that type of stuff. So
yeah, you get the double dipping. You get a job very easily. You can get any government job, but they like hiring the military people. And what other job where you getting retirement benefits at age 39?
39, 40. I know, right? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So yeah, those are good men right there. We need those men back here. We really do. And yeah, and if they do come back, these women better learn how to treat them.
I know that's right. Well, listen, we're gonna JR, tell us where. Well, Ron, since we're on you, go ahead, tell us where people can find you, and when you're not being a passport bro and you're in the States, where the ladies can connect with you, if you know, whatever, and just follow you on your path.
Yeah, follow me on my pages. I am Ron Freeman, Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, I'll be back in the States for a while. I'm tired. I'm done traveling. I've been gone the last 3. I think the 3 Sundays in a row I've been in a different city or something like that when I've done this show. I did it from Chicago last week. I did it from Vegas the week before for fight weekend.
Yeah, Ocho on there with you had Phil, you had all of the
yeah. Then I had to entertain all of them when they came in. So I'm wore out right now. Yeah. So Ron's gonna be at the house, redecorating my house for the next 2 months. doing that type of stuff, domesticated stuff. So
making it child friendly and whatnot. Okay, all right, and thank you for that. I appreciate you being here. No matter where you are in the world, you always stay in contact and available, and that's what I love about you, Ron. You're a real guy. You're a real guy for real. And when you give your word, it really means something to you, and it means something to me. So thank you for that. JR, tell us about your YouTube channel, where we can find you, and what's your handle? Is it the same over on Instagram, JRXTV? And are you available? Are you over on Twitter? Because I think I was looking for you on Twitter today.
Yeah, I probably opened a Twitter account years ago, but I'm not really regular on Twitter at all.
Okay.
If you want to find me, I'm on Instagram, JRXTV, YouTube as well, JRXTV. Yeah, I'm more about health, fitness, wellness, well-being, and obviously relationships play a part in that as well. So I just tie everything together. On my YouTube, it's mainly my conversations about relationships, particularly in the Black community and things. TV shows that we review. On Instagram, it's more the health and fitness and well-being side of things, nutrition as well. So yeah, those are the 2 platforms that I mainly will check in on, and you can get an insight into what I do.
Well, I love it, and I thank you for being here, because you always bring a balance to it, and I'm going to try not to get on your bad side, because I know you can be petty sometimes.
It has to be really rough. It has to be really rough for me to get there.
Yeah, no, I'm teasing. I'm absolutely joking, because I never expect to be in that place where I'm ever disrespecting anybody, or vice versa. It's nothing but love and respect over here. I love you guys. You stay with us. I can't believe we're in our 3rd hour, try to go into a 4th hour. We're gonna cut it right here. And guys, if you're watching, check out the replay. Click like. Subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Go over, subscribe to JRXTV. He's got a YouTube channel over there where he's focusing on Black love, Black relationships, and health and fitness on his Instagram page. Go check out my brother Ron over on Instagram. You might find him on Facebook too. He's doing a lot, and what I'm going to do with this, Ron, you back? What I'm going to do with video is what I'm going to do with this video is try to put the chapter in, because at some point, I think about maybe almost two a 2 hours and 50-minute mark, we got into just, real conversation that wasn't about Ready to Love, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to mark that guy so that, if anybody that you don't want to hear the conversation, that's fine. If you want to just hear the Ready to Love stuff, that's there too. This has been really great. I really feel like we've accomplished something. I don't know what exactly, but I think it's just having real conversations though, right? And everybody being able to express themselves.
Exactly.
Yep. So with that said, let me get over here to the sign off music, and we're gonna shimmy and shake on out of here, Roro. Roro, this is for you. We're shimmy and shaking on out of here. Oh, and I'm sorry, one last thing. We have got to say happy birthday, Kimberly. Kimberly could not be here today because it's her birthday weekend. So guys, could you all wish Kimberly a happy birthday?
Happy birthday, Kimberly.
Thank you, Ryan. You got anything to say for Kimberly, our panelist co-host that's missing today? Okay,
I think I'm breaking up. But yeah. I love Kimberly. Definitely happy birthday, and we'll see you when you get back.
We'll see you when you get back, girl. So here we go. We shimmy and shaking on out of here.